Where are we? Where are we? What do we have here? Okay. One moment. Let's get everything set up. Dun, dun, dun. Let's get this working. One moment. Almost there. We are almost there. I'll be able to read your chat in just a moment. Okay. Oh wait, is this it? Does anybody know who that man is standing behind Lewis? That is my shadow. That's my shadow. He follows me everywhere. We live got audio and video. Hello from New Zealand. Thank you. 38 people waiting. Indeed. Look at your fan spin like the lady on the left looks at Lewis. There's not a lady to my left. To my left is an acoustic panel and a bathroom. There's actually a bathroom in here, but that's all there is to my left is a bathroom. There's no lady in my bathroom, I hope. That would be kind of weird. Get out of there! Yeah, I don't have a lady in my bathroom. Open an unsweetened tea. I had a student a long time ago that would drink like 3 or 4 very highly sweetened teas a day, and you could see that his skin was kind of changing color near his foot. And I imagine that that's like the starting of diabetes because of too much sugar. So ever since I saw that and I noticed it, I only get unsweetened tea. 0 sugar in any of my drinks. I don't get drinks with any added sugar. I think they're referring to the picture of the press conference. Oh, that woman's married with children. Get out of here. Get out of here. That woman is married with children. Very nice, very kind person, you know. Lovely meeting him all today. But yeah, that's not the lens through which I'm looking at that. Hi from the UK. Oh, crap. Yeah, I thought I added that to the thumbnail of the other video. I must have made it the thumbnail of this too. Ah, well. I don't know. It's a vent. It's like it's a piece of plastic on a wall. I don't know why everybody is so obsessed with that damn vent. I have an acoustic panel that I'm using as blinds. Nobody cares about that, but they care about the vent over here. I used to drink iced tea all day at school, and I'm so happy I stopped before I encountered problems. See, what was the problem you were having with your tea? Because again, if you have, and this is unsweetened, no sugar. The rent and living costs skyrocket in the U.S. I think shit's going to hit the fan soon. Yeah, I think that people are not going to tolerate... It's interesting because like when all the shutdowns happen, you had everybody saying, no, you have to shut everything down. Do something, do something. Then it's like, oh crap, we have no money. Print money, print money, print money. CARES Act. And then like right after that, then it's like, oh shit, everything's getting expensive. Inflation, inflation, inflation. And it's your student is turning into a plant. That's why he's changing color. I don't think so. But I think that the honest red pill, like the truest red pill is that there's not some sort of grand crazy conspiracy. It's just, we just kind of run around like chickens without heads trying to solve today's problem. And saying that, you know, let's worry about next week's problem next week. Let's worry about next year's problem next year. Let's worry about next decade's problem next decade. And I think that that's really innate to a lot of human nature. Like when you're a kid, just think about it. When you eat a bunch of sugar and then you stay up until 2 a.m, you're always thinking about, like, are you thinking about, you know, when you have to wake up at 6 or 7 o'clock for school? No, that's tomorrow's problem. You know you're going to be dead tired tomorrow. You know when the next day comes that you're going to regret that you ate all that sugar the night before. You're going to wake up after 4 or 5 hours of sleep feeling completely dead. And you're going to feel like, oh, this is torture. I have to stay in school until 3 p.m. I can't get home until 4. I got to do homework until 6. It's going to be 12 hours until I get to actually rest. It's horrible. But you're solving the problem of right now at the expense of, which is I want sugar and I don't want to go to bed, at the expense of solving something later. And I kind of think that in general in society, like when you look at a lot of the ways that things go, there's so much that's attributed to some sort of grand master plan or evil conspiracy, when in reality, it's just a bunch of people running around like chickens without heads, trying to solve the problem that everybody's screaming about right now and thinking about the problem of tomorrow or next week or next year. When next year happens, that's tomorrow's Lewis problem. But yeah, I remember when the COVID happened and everybody was going, oh my God, what are you going to do? Shut everything down, shut everything down. And it's, oh my God, we have no money, we gotta make some money. And then like after the CARES Act and all that, it's like, what was it like? I forget how much. I honestly don't even remember reading it. It was like $4 or $5 trillion worth. You combine that with the fact that people were not doing anything, so nothing was being produced while all this money was being put out. It's like an absolute mess. It's not even about getting reelected. It's just, I mean, I think this is a natural part of human nature that so many people, I think, attribute to conspiracy. Just everybody kind of wants to figure out how to solve today's problem. Like alcohol is a great example. I think that's since, for the past 3 months, I would say, since, I don't know, I think February 4th to February 8th, I've been to like a week ago, I think I was drinking a lot more alcohol than iced tea, so I could speak to this. Everybody's focused, like tonight's problem. I want to forget about my evening and have fun. Tomorrow's problem is the hangover, but that's tomorrow's person's problem. Or admittedly, the problem of the person that didn't drink enough liquids. I tend to stay hydrated, and I also exercise while I'm getting wasted. So let's say I get wasted right after I leave work. I will actually walk home instead of take my bike or the train home. If I was doing that, because the 7-mile walk while drinking a bunch of liquids allows me to metabolize the alcohol faster, and by the time the next day comes, I wake up not even remembering that I drank alcohol the last evening. I did not live stream a damn thing, Christoph. I do have a recorded copy that was provided by Nathan Proctor's folks at US Perg. Thank you very much to the folks at Perg. My apologies to the people at Perg whose name I did not get. I remember Kevin O'Reilly and Nathan Proctor. What's in today's agenda? Just a random live stream. Just a live stream. Yeah, Lewis, your press conference talk, amazing job and right to the point. Well, thank you. Hopefully we get somewhere. This time again. Oh, wow, that's a doozy. I need to sell a condo for my mom. Our realtor's worth 5% standard commission. The best I can negotiate, 0.5% off the commission rate. Probably save $2,600 after tax. I guess that pays for legal fees. I'm not experienced in this field, but I think that selling and dealing with real estate, if you're inexperienced, can be a minefield, and there's many, many, many different ways where you can get fucked if you don't sign the right document properly, or a contractor's written up improperly, or there's some inspection that doesn't get done the way it's supposed to. So what I would do is I would deal with a professional one. I would deal with a professional one because you're not dealing with a small transaction. You're dealing with $100,000 or $300,000 or $800,000, and I wouldn't want to fuck that up because I was really concerned about that 5%. So if you're incredibly experienced, then I would consider, not do it, I would consider not going with a realtor. If you're not experienced, then just get a fucking realtor, because you're gonna fuck something up big time, and you're gonna wish that you had just dealt with the 5% fee. That's what I would imagine. That would be my advice. Yeah, so today, again, usually Gay Gordon Byrne at repair.org said the goal was to get the press to be engaged and to get them to ask questions and to take interest. Because, again, 99% of the time, 100% of the time that I've done any of these, whether it's legislative events, press conferences, or anything, no member of the press has ever asked a fucking question. They show up, they record, sometimes they record it and they don't even put it on the news or YouTube. Like, they literally send somebody to record the legislative hearing, and it's not even like they edit it down to the fun bits like I do on this channel. None of it makes it there. So today, we had one person from News 10, thank you, Amal, who showed up, who actually asked some decent pointed questions. I said, do you think that it is feasible? Is it realistic to expect them to stock parts? Will this be a burden? I answered some of those questions in a way that I think was proper. But again, she wasn't against it. But she was just asking, normal questions, trying to get to the core of what it is that we do, and trying to get to the core of what it is we're asking for, and whether we have actually thought this through, or whether this is just some pie in the sky idealistic bullshit. And I really did appreciate that. Again, today, there was one reporter that engaged. Again, one reporter, 1.5 minute clip. That's progress over 0. Next time, 2. Next time, 3. Next time, 5. Next time, 10. Next time, 20. Next time, 100. Again, that's the idea. That's the goal. And that's what we're looking for. So you start one bit at a time. Wow, I'm Sans? I don't get it, but thank you for the $2. I don't understand. Don't ever trust a statement or document from a realtor regarding describing what you are buying. You got to find a realtor that you trust, but that's very difficult. Like, you got to find the Alan. You have to find the Alan Rosinski of your profession. Find the Alan Rosinski of your profession. Again, it's really hard to find an Alan Rosinski. The Alan Rosinskis are like this. For every one Alan Rosinski, you're going to find 1,000 scumbags, but Yes, additionalist. No, even if you don't remember what you did the last evening, you kind of you know that you got wasted if you didn't handle it properly. So if you didn't drink enough water, if you didn't eat before you got drunk, if you did not try to walk it off, then the next day, even if you have no memory of what happened that evening, you know that you got wasted. The ideal way to wake up is to literally have no idea that you drank the last evening because you handled your alcohol properly. I'm a proponent now of looking towards the past, what's already been done. For instance, we already made the hammer. Now we just need to figure out what nails they work on. Huh? Do you switch banks when you go to New Hampshire? Wells, Chase, and City are all missing in action, asking for a friend or maybe looking to escape. No, I have. I've deal with the bank that I deal with. I have accounts for several different businesses and nonprofits there. So changing everything over to a different bank would be a royal pain in the ass. The bank that I deal with makes it very, very easy to do online wire transfers internationally and to keep track of them in an easy way. Because like back in the day, many other interfaces were really bad at this. They required you visited the branch for international. There was a bunch of really nonsensical, annoying back and forth that you had to do. And above all, since I keep as much money for all these different businesses there, particularly also the nonprofit money, they kind of treat me better. Again, like, you know, the nonprofit money is not mine, but I can't spend that any way that I want. I can't pay myself. Technically, I could pay myself a salary from it, but I don't because I said I wasn't. But since I'm the director of the nonprofit, I do have over $1 million in the bank for that nonprofit, and it's in my name. So when I call the bank, instead of getting treated like a fucking scumbag, I actually get treated like a human being now. Because again, to them, they don't know that that's not my money, that that's your money, that I am that I am simply the caretaker of. They actually treat me like a human being. So it's kind of worth it to keep the bank that I have right now. And I'm not going to change over to some small regional bank. Also, I have, you know, again, the whole point of getting this apartment is I'm not really moved anywhere. I'm a nomad. Like, I don't know if I'm going to stay in this area. I don't know if I'm going to wind up going to a different state. I wanted to, you know, just kind of try out the state, see how I like it before deciding to buy a house here or something. So changing over the bank accounts of, you know, numerous different organizations and resetting everything up it's just too much of a pain in the ass. I like having all my bank statements in one place. I like having a banker that I know. I like being able to say, hi, I'm being audited and they're asking for this particular statement for an account that I had for 2 months back in 2011. Can you find that for me? And then literally just like, again, I don't have to go through a bunch of bullshit. I don't have to wait on hold. I have the cell phone number of my bank representative and they'll just get it for me. It just makes it worth it for me. And again, there's enough money in that bank that I don't have to pay fees for shit. Like again, once you're keeping that amount of money there, it's easy to not get feed anymore. They did treat me like crap, F Meister. When I opened the nonprofit account there, they stopped treating me like crap. Again, to Chase, it doesn't matter to Chase whether the over $1 million that is in the nonprofit account is my personal money that I spend on hookers and blow, or that's money that I spend on lobbyists and don't pay myself a salary from. To Chase, that's Lewis's choosing to put over $1 million with us. Let's stop treating him like shit. And, you know, it is what it is. They stopped treating me like shit. I don't know what to say. Like, you know, I had a bullshit problem happen 2.5 weeks ago. They brought me a fucking candy basket to the store. And they gave me the personal cell phone number of somebody I can call when I have that particular problem. Like, that never happened before. But that happens when you deposit $1 million in the bank. I have an A1226 MacBook Pro long until it breaks and I have to send it to you. Do not send me an A1226 or A1260. Ever! Hey, I'm going to link my old friend's video. God rest his soul. He died. But this video is 110% on point for what I think of this piece of fucking shit computer. And he actually winds up shooting the computer in the end, which is exactly what this fucking piece of shit deserves. And I'm very happy that he did that. This will be a part of his legacy. Again, this is my good friend here. I will link it in the chat. He did a video on why you do not fix this computer.
And when I actually told you that you chose to fix this for God knows what reason, you gave me $300 to refurbish this computer, fix it up, when you could have added an...
So what he did is he took a bow and arrow and he shot it, which is exactly what this piece of shit deserves. See that? That's a fucking bow and arrow going through your A1226. That's exactly what every single one of that piece of garbage, horrible, design flaw ridden piece of junk deserves. Fuck that computer. I hate A1226s and A1260s. I hate first generation LED backlit screens and how horribly unreliable they are. I hate how Apple could not use the LP154WP2 TLC one that's readily available for $65 and had to change the connector in the PCB. And with the LP154WP2 TLA one, which was more annoying, cost $100 to $200 more for no good fucking reason and failed considerably more often just because they had to be Apple. I hate that computer. Oh, man. I actually got to shoot an arrow through it myself. That was fun. Hello, Brad Haynes. Hope you're doing well. Your advice on bullying really helped me. Thank you. I'm glad. Ever considered Connecticut? No. 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 No.
Oh, sweet mercy.
MacBook Lives Matter. That MacBook deserved to have a bow and arrow put through it. It could be that any bank treats you well when you have $1 million in the bank. Yes. Yeah, that helps. Chase ripped off military by not following the Soldiers and Sailors Act. They got fined, but servicemen and women got screwed. Chase is a shit bank for a number of different reasons. They really are. It's just they offer the best credit card processing that I've ever gotten. My rates there, when I actually do the math, and this is including online, by the way, including online, and in store is like 2.05%. That's fucking insane. 2.05% is my, like, are you serious? That's crazy. I mean, like the worst month I ever had, I think was like 2.1. It's really, really good. I've dealt with enough banks to realize that at the end of the day, I'm not going to get along with just about any of you. Chase sucks, but they're the suck that I'm familiar with, and they stopped treating me like shit. Do you work at parties while getting wasted? No, but I have tried to beat a bench press record once while drunk. Not worth it taking a risk on your biggest investment in life. I agree with the realtor thing, yes. Deal with a professional. You just got to find a good professional. Because the thing is, if you find a bad professional, it's actually worse than you being an idiot and doing it yourself. You have to find a good professional. So you have to get yourself informed just enough that you at the very least know the difference between a good professional and a bad professional. You can't go into anything doing nothing. Did you find your DaVinci Resolve key? No, I finally bought a new one.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I spent $300 on a new one. I gave up. You noticed that my video today had some editing in it. I put some little screenshots and shit. It's worth it. It really is. It's like they have. Only thing that sucks is they don't allow VST effects in Linux, which is bullshit. Or because even Carla will allow it. It doesn't even allow Carla to work as an audio effect, and the built-in limiter kind of sucks. There was an age of yelling at people over the phone before there was this. Yeah, now you just yell at somebody in a foreign country that barely speaks English that's reading off of a survey, which doesn't even really work, because like the more you yell at them, the more confused they get, so the further you actually get from your problem being solved, so it doesn't even make sense to yell at them. I try to avoid yelling at customer service people on the phone, even when I think they're complete idiots, because I know that that's not going to get my problem solved faster, and at the end of the day, I want my problem solved faster. It's not about, I always have to ask myself, what do I want? Do I want to feel the release of yelling at this person that makes me mad? Or do I want to actually have my problem solved? Hello, Julie Costas. Thank you very much. I learned last week that Lubbock, Texas is an awful place. Never go to Texas. Are you in Florida, Brad Haynes? I thought you were in Florida for some reason. I can tell you that repairing printers has issues with not sparing parts. They should be or cheaping out on parts. Yeah, I'm not surprised there. Why not use a credit union? Because I use this already. Because I use Chase already. And I switched from Gotham Bank to Chase in 2010 because Gotham Bank was a royal pain in the ass with wire transfers. I had to physically go to the branch. Capital One was also a pain in the ass back then with international wire transfers. Like, I want to be able, if it's 2 or 3 in the morning and I get a text message saying, okay, here's the prices for the stuff that you asked for, to be able to roll over in bed and go, okay, sounds good, just sent you the money, and go back to sleep. Because when I used to run the supply company, I was dealing with wire transfers nonstop internationally, and I was dealing with all these vendors in another country, and I would constantly get woken up at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning to finalize orders and deal with parts availability. Is there grade A available or only grade A minus? Can you sort it? Blah, blah, blah. And that mattered to me at the time. Hi, have a good evening. Thank you, Pratik. Like, having to go to the bank the next day would delay my shipment by a day. Delaying my shipment by a day would mean that I would have to have enough stuff in stock. I would have to have more stuff in stock, in order to be able to deal with the delay, which meant I had to have more money. And back then I didn't have any fucking money, so I was kind of running a Ponzi scheme on myself. So anything that made it more convenient. But yeah, at this point in time, just changing banks is not a priority to me. Like, why don't you use a credit union? Because to use a credit union, I would have to close out my accounts at my current bank to move over to the credit union for what would be little to no benefit now that I don't have any problems with my existing bank. I don't have problems with my existing bank that are worth the time or energy involved. Honestly, even just the investment that it would take for me to log into QuickBooks accounts for 4 different companies, and then for each of those 4 different companies, edit the bank syncing information from Chase to a credit union, like, you have no idea how much of a pain in the ass dealing with accounting software is in the beginning. Like QuickBooks. There's stuff that's that horribly coded. Because that's going to take me 45 minutes to do, and it's not worth it for me. And then there's also the several hours I'm going to take opening all the different accounts for all the different businesses. It's a royal pain in the ass. I just don't see a need to do it. Now, if there's a bank out there that says, Lewis, we'll give you $30,000 personally if you decide to change over to us, fine. But otherwise, I just don't care. Yeah. I have not read the latest terms of service for Twitter because I virtually never use Twitter. I did log into Twitter today for the first time in a very long time to read a DM, but other than that, I never log into Twitter. I logged into Twitter today to read a DM. That was it. Do you think companies like OneWheel deserve consumers to return if they do a 180 on anti-consumer practices now? Yes, I think that we don't really have any really well laid out path to redemption for anything anymore. You know, it's like this person said or did something I dislike, destroy them, and then destroy them permanently. I mean, I would buy a fucking MacBook if they changed the way that they dealt with. Okay, I'm not going to go that far. I don't like the edges. The edges on it are really sharp and it hurts, and they also have a track point. But you get my point. Like, I could turn the other cheek immediately. Like, I could give Tim Cook a hug tomorrow if he allowed us to buy CD3217s from Texas Instruments. There's no, lifetime vendetta with any of this stuff. If somebody decides to change, then give them the positive reinforcement. It's not a holy war. It's not a family feud that's going to last for 3 generations. I grew up in Florida. You think I'm from there because I commented on critters from there when you visited. But I live in Texas. What part of Texas, Brad Haynes? I also travel for a living. What do you do, Brad? You're a regular commenter, so I'm curious. I feel bad that I don't know. What's your opinion on U-Break I Fix? Trying to get a device repair and they're hiring near me. I mean, it's kind of like the McDonald's of repair, to be honest with you. If you want to go there to get some experience, by all means do it, but don't be there for a long-term career. Look to start your own business. Either A, start your own business, or B, work at some sort of highly specialized place, like Jess's or Jesse Cruz's or my place. Well, not my place. My place is a clusterfuck right now, at least until my audit is done. But you get what I'm talking about. You're going to want to work someplace that's not really the McDonald's. Again, if you want to just start from nowhere and get some experience, by all means, get your experience working at McDonald's. But, aim to either open your own restaurant or work at a real restaurant someday, is what I would say. There's something to be said for inertia. The long-term pain of the bank is worth it for the short-term pain of changing the bank. Yeah, but what is the long-term pain? Like, what is the long-term pain at the bank? What is the long-term pain? Like, I mean, I have same-day deposits for my credit card transactions. I have the lowest credit card processing rate I've ever had in my life. 2.05% is insane. I have the cell phone number of somebody that I could call at almost any time of the day, anytime I even have the slightest problem that speaks English that's going to handle everything for me. Like, what is the pain? Explain to me the pain. Why is there pain? I don't like them. I think they suck. But at the end of the day, they're kind of douchebags. Admittedly, if you don't have money, they're the douchebags. But all my problems are fixed now. Why would I? Again, this is the thing that so many people don't get. Like, they have this ideal. Well, you should use this piece of software because it is ever so slightly better because the font is better on this menu. And it's like, yeah, but I never use that menu, and it's going to take me 2 hours to switch everything over. And during those 2 hours, I could do virtually anything else with my life. It's like, why? Explain to me the benefit. It's like, but it would be better. Yeah, but it takes me 2 hours to get there. Like, why would I do that? I could do something else. Like, it's a waste. You're not thinking like a business owner. Why did DaVinci Resolve require a key? The activation code only allows you to activate it on one computer. I have a computer in my office. I have another desktop computer. And then I have my laptop. I don't want to buy 3 licenses. The irony is that I've lost this key so many times that I've literally bought 3 licenses. I bought the first key, which I lost. I bought a second key used on eBay for $150. And I lost that literally within 3 days when my wallet got taken at the doctor's office. And then now I have this. So I've pretty much already paid for 3 fucking separate licenses. So if I were smart, I would have simply paid for 3 licenses up front. Because I'm a cheapskate, I decided I'm just going to pay for a dongle and plug it into each computer that I use, and needless to say, I wound up paying for 3 anyway. So they fucking win. You win, you pricks. Also, the reason I use this is because on Linux, you don't get any codec support in DaVinci Resolve, the free edition. On Windows, you do get all the free codec support that you need. You don't need the paid version. But for if you're using Linux, you need to have the paid version in order to be, or else you're just going to be transcoding video all the time, and you're going to lose quality that way, and it's also a fucking pain in the ass to do. You almost said you go to a MacBook. I almost did, didn't I? How do you feel about EU forcing Apple to use USB-C charging ports? I don't care. Are you living in New Hampshire? I live nowhere. I am a nomad. I don't live anywhere. I'm a nomad. I'm a traveler. I am just a traveler. I think guests during live streams would work to make a live stream more interesting. Who would you want to see as a guest? Who would show up on this? You're a pragmatic individual, and it doesn't sound like you're vindictive. Which people were as rational? I don't think I'm rational at all. I hope that you're not holding me up as a bastion of rationality. What do you think of the current stock market? Well, if you were to take a look at the past 5 to 8 years, and you just take the chart and you take a little ruler, you'll notice that somewhere around like 2020, it just kind of did this. Instead of doing this, it did this. And everything that does this, in my opinion, not a financial advisor, not investment advice, things do this. Like the long-term trend is this, right? It's the, no, I'm drawing with a mirror, aren't I? Huh? Oh, wow. I haven't even drank alcohol and I forget what I'm doing. The long-term trend is usually going up in a straight line. When it goes up like this and then does some stupid shit like this, usually what happens is it does this and then goes back up. So I think you're seeing that now. When to buy back in? Who the fuck knows? Checking about minimums with big banks, 5 banks for no fees in Canadian, 3,000 to 6,000 for up to 129 rebate on premium CC. What's a premium CC? The 129 rebate for premium CC. You gain the Rolls Royce of service via Chase, makes no sense to bag elsewhere. Opportunity cost is real. True. Credit card processing fees, what's that? If you're a business and you take credit cards, if somebody pays $100, you don't get $100. You get, you're going to get like 98 or 99 or 97 or 96. Like it depends on, what type of card they use. If they're using some sort of really hyper rewards business card, you're getting fucked. If it's some sort of like subprime, business, subprime card that doesn't have any benefits or anything, then you're going to get a better rate. But like there are some people that give you a flat rate. I actually don't like the flat rate credit card processing, because flat rate, what they tend to do is instead of charging you based on what actually happened, they're just going to charge you regardless. Like whatever kind of card somebody uses, you're going to pay a high rate. I prefer Chase's approach, which is we're going to bill you based on what it costs us to deal with that transaction. So if you get a bunch of people using debit cards, your rates are going to be rock bottom. And if everybody is using some sort of business rewards card with tons of cash back, you're going to get fucked. And at the end of the day, I tried it for a few months. We were able to negotiate Square down to 2.2%, but Square sucked balls. Square was horrible. Like dealing with chargeback with Square is impossible. Like you're always going to lose. It doesn't matter. There's no protection whatsoever. I almost had $2,000 or $4,000 linked at, yinked out of my account by a scammer. Chase is much better at dealing with that type of shit. Even though their system is garbage, when you actually call and speak to somebody, it's better. But the thing with Chase is it was like 2.05%. You just can't fucking beat that when you added up all the different cards. DaVinci used to sell for $100,000 to steal these days at $200. I don't use 99% of the features. Like I'm not doing advanced color grading and shit in there. I'm not using multiple camera angles. Like I'm editing myself yelling into a camera for the most part. The most that I do is usually like audio plugins, but at this point, since with Linux, you can't use audio plugins in DaVinci besides the stock ones, and the stock ones are horrible. I wind up using different ones that I deal with in Carla, and I just do the processing in real time. Honestly, it's just cutting stuff up, occasionally adding a picture in, maybe sometimes a little bit of not crazy color grading, just dealing with the color curve so things don't look really blown out, or like the contrast is too low or too high. But that's it. What's your current stance with PayPal? I only use PayPal for a very limited number of things where I cannot use anybody else, but I've switched almost everything else over to either Stripe or Chase Payment Tech. I don't like that shit where if you refund somebody, they don't refund the fee. So I didn't change over 100%, but I did change over 90. I would say 98% of my business revenue is not PayPal anymore, which is enough for me to live with myself. DaVinci Resolve Studio rocks and they're amazing compared to Adobe. Yeah, true. So I used to see Barnacle Twitter feed and every other fucking day with a beautiful, amazing custom built computer. This is a dude that was like partially responsible for fucking programming Windows, the operating system. And he couldn't get Premiere to stop crashing. I used Vegas, real Vegas. Like I paid $300 for Vegas Pro Edit. And it would crash constantly. It doesn't matter on a Ryzen, Intel platform, self-built computer versus ThinkPad P50 that I purchased. It crashes all the fucking time, even with basic ass video. Resolve has not crashed. I forget if I started using it 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It doesn't crash, even on Linux. Like it works on Linux. Linux doesn't work on Linux, and DaVinci Resolve works on Linux. It's amazing. It just doesn't fucking crash. It doesn't matter how much shit you throw at it, how many different tracks you throw at it, how much different things you're doing at once. I'm pretty sure that I did the YouTube Rewind video for 2019 in Resolve. I'm 99% certain I did that in Resolve. The YouTube Rewind, that was like the last video I feel like I did on this channel that I could be proud of. There was something about 2019 that I think was the peak of me being proud of what I uploaded. But the rewind video I did in December of 2019, I did that like no crashing whatsoever. In Vegas, it was crashing constantly. Yeah, I had audio, there's audio block, all different types of shit, and it just worked. Isn't there a way to dump the DaVinci Resolve USB key and turn it into a virtual one? I'm not smart enough to do that. The amount of education I'd probably have to have in order to figure out how to do that, because I'm not very smart, is worth less than $300. You look beat. I don't know. I look like what I look like. Can't do much about that without plastic surgery. You're still doing New Hampshire experiment. Asked and answered. I'm out of the loop. If you're traveling, is business running without a manager? The business, no, it's running with a manager. It has a manager. I think a good guess would be a like-minded individual you respect and know, or a politician you can educate about right to repair. Maybe. I'm not a very sociable person, though. If the person that made DaVinci were in front of me, I would give them a blowjob, no questions asked. Honestly, I probably would too. I wouldn't even care if it smelled like piss. Like, I mean, they made a video editor that doesn't crash in Windows or Linux. Vegas used to crash on me 3 times a day. Adobe Premiere crashes on every single person that I've ever spoken to that has ever edited video. I have never had DaVinci Resolve crash on me on any system, ever. I'm not saying that because I'm paid to. DaVinci Resolve has never paid me. In fact, when I lost my license, my dongle, somebody actually emailed their support to say, like, it wasn't me emailing. Well, somebody emailed on my behalf, and they said, "Oh yeah, Lewis, we'd love to help you with getting a license key. Just provide us this information." And I provided them all the information, and they never got back to me. They never got back to me. Their customer support politely said, "Fuck you, Lewis." But the thing is, their software is so good that I will still give them money after they tell me to go fuck myself. It's that good. Just why are you talking about video editing software? If you're just tuning in, just hit the rewind button. I know that you mean well, but that's so annoying when I'm in the middle of a sentence and somebody's like, just restart the sentence because I just joined. Just hit rewind. This isn't live television. You can hit the J key on your keyboard. Come on. Why use the free version of DaVinci until you find a dongle? Because in Linux it has no codec support, which makes it garbage and useless. How is the audit going? You explained it before, then I apologize. How's it going, Emma? Well, the last time I got a paper from them, they asked for 3 times the amount that's in my business bank account, and I thought this is bullshit. And then they, like, months later, it was like, oh yeah, you know that piece of paper we were asking for that? Oh, never mind that. It's like, thanks, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you for telling me 3 months later that you asking for 3 times my business bank account was a whoopsie. Yeah, it's not like I almost fell back in alcoholism and traveled halfway around the world to see a fucking toxic woman that I used to have a crush on just to try to get away from the misery that my life was becoming because of you fucks. Oh, my. But I'm not salty. Anyway, yeah, that was We're working on it. We're working on it. Yeah, but needless to say, that was not fun. We're working on it. I actually got a response today. So, keep my CPA is staying paid. I'll leave it at that. And I spent a lot of the month of December and January pretty much like just honestly a big part of what I got out of this apartment is just since it's so tranquil in the middle of nowhere is that I just had the ability to kind of sit here for 8 or 10 hours a day and prepare every single piece of paperwork that was requested, a description for every single thing. What type of income is this? How do you make this particular type of income? What makes this particular type of income sales taxable versus not sales taxable? What are the statutes? What do you do? Bro, names, addresses, ticket numbers, descriptions of the fucking repair. Like, let's do this, bro. Let's do this. But yeah, not even gonna. All right. Hey. If you're traveling, you'll need paper license plates. I prefer metal license plates. I don't think the paper ones would survive the. I don't think paper license plates would survive very well when it rains and stuff like that. I've never tried an electric unicycle. There's this group of people that are always outside of Mamoon's Falafel on St. Mark's Place. A really cool group of people. They're always playing interesting music. They're always very nice. They welcome anybody that walks by. Shout out to that group of people. I'm sorry if I don't remember your names, but every time I walk down St. Mark's to get something, shawarma at Mamoon's Falafel, you guys are usually there and usually say hi, and I wave to you. Hi, by the way. They always have those electric unicycles or those. It's not a one wheel. It's like the non-douchebag version of the one wheel, like made by a. They're very nice. And one of them actually wanted to teach me how to use it. And I spent about just a minute just trying to get on it without killing myself. And I got on it without killing myself, but I didn't really go anywhere. And they said, I'll teach you how to do this anytime in an hour. And I'm like, thank you. So the next time I'm in New York City, I will go down there. And when I'm not inebriated with alcohol, I'll go to, which I admittedly, anytime I'm walking up and down St. Mark's, it's usually because I've become inebriated with alcohol or because I'm trying to get wasted and forget my day. What else is St. Mark's Place for there? I will head there and try to learn how to use it. I run Windows 7. I've been trying LibreOffice, especially now Windows 11 is going internet connection required. Yeah, fuck that. I switched back over to Linux in December, and I'm very, very happy. My home computer and my travel computer, I'm both using Linux for everything. I don't boot into Windows for jack shit. Honestly, the only thing I boot into Windows for, I boot into Windows 10 is play Street Fighter 4. That's literally it. Because I can't play Street Fighter 4 on Linux. If anybody could tell me a very basic and easy way to play my Street Fighter 4 on Linux, or Street Fighter Alpha 3, doesn't have to be Street Fighter 4. I'll play Street Fighter Alpha 3 in Linux. I would be very happy, but that's it. That's all I need. Can I use an Xbox controller? Play Street Fighter Alpha 3 in Linux. I'm done. I never have to fucking boot into Windows again. How do you feel about the free software movement? It exists. That's too general a question. You have to ask questions that are less general so I have some way to engage with it. Why must everyone copy Apple? Because they're successful. And what people often do is they don't copy the things that make Apple successful. They copy the things that make Apple suck, thinking that that particular thing is fashionable and what makes Apple successful, rather than copying the overall user experience, which is what actually makes Apple successful. I'm definitely requesting a chargeback from all businesses that use Square now. Don't do that. Don't do that. They'll all lose. Square's chargeback system sucks. Would you get some kind of quality certification program for other repair shops? In return, they get hooked up with more sourcing expertise from your side and you get money and reach. No, because I don't know how to do that. I really don't know how to do that. Like, honestly, I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm bad at. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm bad at. And I think my success in life is based on the fact that when I know I'm bad at something, I don't try to get money from people for it. And I'm not good at that. I don't know how to certify people. I don't know how to come up with a very specific set of procedures and routines to be able to guarantee that after you have taken this written test and after I've been in a room with you for 5 minutes that I can certify that you're good at everything. I don't know how to standardize that. I know how to do it. Like, I know how to say in a job interview, okay, I think you know your shit. But I don't know how to come up with a way of distilling this into a piece of paper so that other people could make that judgment. I know how to make the judgment myself, but I don't know how to put that stuff on a paper so that other people could make that judgment, so that somebody could come off the street, observe you, and deal with this list of standards and say, you know what you're doing. That's not something I'm good at. And perhaps it's something that I should become good at. Perhaps maybe that's a challenge I should give myself. I also don't think that there's money there. I don't think people would pay for a Rossmann certification. I think it's one of those things where people say they'd pay for it. Like, you know, for instance, people always used to say, I want to pay for A1708 RAM upgrades. When are you going to offer A1706 MacBook RAM upgrades? And then I buy the RAM, and the RAM costs me $175 a piece. So we say it's going to be $325 to $400 to give you 16 gigs of RAM. And they're like, ugh, I'm not paying that. It's like, and then you wind up with a spool of RAM that you've had for 3 years that you paid for that nobody actually wants, because you were offering the service based on people saying they wanted to pay for it. But people saying they want to pay for something is actually different than paying for it. I don't think there is demand for people to be Rossmann certified. I just don't see it there. Like Jessa, maybe Jessa, to be iPad rehab certified, I could see it. Jessa teaches a class every month with 8 to 12 students, and she teaches a MacBook course once every 2 or 3 months at, I think, 8 or 12 students, and it's always full. It's always full. You know, we have tutoring service here at the store. It has like one person come by every 3 months. I don't think that there's a lot of, what do you think of the current crypto market? I think it's a consensual Ponzi scheme. Fees make the bank or clearinghouses bundle his money. Why is Elon rich? He isn't as rich as the banks. I don't know. I don't really care. You know, I don't care about Elon's personal wealth, or like whether a bank is worth more. Do you think people are generally good or generally bad? I don't think people are generally anything. That's too general a question. Oh, you're trolling me because I said those questions were too general. So now you're asking me a question that says generally twice. I see what you're doing. Kden Live is better than DaVinci Resolve. Are you fucking fuck out of here? No, I'm sorry. The Kden Live is free. God bless it for being free and open source. That shit crashes like crazy. It is so fucking slow. Like, just seeking around video is so painful. You hit play and it just starts stuttering like crazy. It says like, no, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't mean to insult open source software, but fuck out of here. DaVinci Resolve shits on Kden Live hard. And again, I get it. DaVinci Resolve, Blackmagic, profitable company, Kden Live free software project. But you're the one who made the comparison, not me. I'm not trying to compare something that is free and open source that has virtually no budget to something that has a budget from Blackmagic. But you can't say that it's better. That's insane. That's literally insane. How many hours do you exercise a week? About 11 to 14. You started using VPN mobile streams. Consider turning it off before you do mobile streams because it makes the quality worse than usual. It's back and forth. It really depends on the area I'm going through. I have a 2013-14 MacBook Pro. One day the battery stopped charging. I replaced it and it worked and charged until I used it to 0%. Then it wouldn't charge again. Replace battery, same thing. Sounds like you're getting a lot of really shitty batteries. If Apple are using M1 system on chip with a specific configuration, could that configuration be changed? Oh, another day. Another thing. Country Mac, actually, what your machine is probably doing is you're probably getting 4 volts on PP-Bus G3 Hot when the battery is plugged in. I mean, when the battery is not plugged in. What is PP-Bus G3 Hot? I bet PP-Bus G3 Hot is 4 volts on your computer, or 1 volt. It's probably stuck at 4 volts because of an issue around the ISL 6259. Measure the resistance without power applied at the charger or the battery. No power applied between pins 17 and 18, and then 27 and 28 on the ISL 6259 chip, which is U7100 on that model, and report back what you find. Also, watch every one of my videos in the ISL 6259's current sensing problems, which I believe there's a playlist for on this channel, so that you can learn how that works. I have an entire video on battery recognition and charging issues that's from 2015. You should watch that. It goes over this in great detail. It's about 40 minutes long, and it will teach you everything you need to know on how to solve that particular problem on that particular model computer. Yeah, let me find it for you, because let's see. I'm gonna link you to it. Don't worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Here we go. Ready?
Hi. So today I'd like to talk about what's going on when your MacBook
piss off the. It's got some good old-fashioned man spreading in it too, just to piss off some people in my chat. There. Funniest thing I've seen while tossing the soda off while it's rooted off the table. If when Right to Repair succeeds, would you move forward on owning what you pay for in light of Apple's new hardware subscription plan? I don't want a hardware subscription plan. I'm not getting a hardware subscription plan. Are all your employees single? What's wrong with going on the pull? What the fuck is the pull? Are you high? No. Three of them are married. Two of them are married. One of them's engaged. One of them's divorced. One of them is not single, but trying to pretend he's single because he wants to fuck other women. And I've been like, I'm about to smack him upside the head for that shit because this woman's actually really good for him and cares about him. I've been giving him shit about that regularly. One of them's afraid of girls, and I'm trying to work him through that. And let's see what else. And I don't know about the rest, but yeah, they're not all single. What hobbies do you have outside your channel? Hi-fi audio? I like going to random places in nature, like random lakes and mountains where I know that there's nobody else there but me, where I have a beautiful view, and I feel like I kind of find it on my own. I like driving around to random places. Hi-fi audio. Furbishing. Yeah. Do you have Valve pushing for Linux adoption? Good on them. I use Ubuntu because I like it being idiot-proof. I tortured myself for 11 years with Gentoo. Never again. Do you think the goals of the Free Software Foundation align anywhere with the goals of Right to Repair? The idea of people being more free and owning their things, yes, I think the goals align there, even if the ideas are different on how to get. Do you think true privacy can be achieved through software that can't be scrutinized? Depends on your level of trust. Maybe. I don't know. I think you would have a higher level of privacy or a higher level of trust that you actually have privacy if the software that you used was fully open source and people that were smarter than you would be able to comb through it and make sure that there's nothing in there that's spying on you. PayPal randomly put limitations on my account. It's making me angry. Yeah, if you look at RossmannSupply.com's blog back from early 2013, I detailed my experience with them. They did the same thing to me. They're a horrible company. Kdenlive doesn't crash on my PC. That's because you don't edit video. My review says, who said Kdenlive is better than Resolve? Please shut up. It's not even close to being 1% to Resolve. I agree. You think the goals of the free software? Oh, I think I answered that one. Yeah, I think that they do. I think that the Free Software Foundation, they want people to be more free. I want Right to Repair. I want you to be more free in terms of you have options and choices when your shit breaks, other than you being stuck with the manufacturer. The Free Software Foundation wants people to be more free by giving them a feeling of ownership over their software when they have access to the source code for it. So I think that there's some overarching principles there. There's some overlap. Is it possible to solder higher capacity RAM chips on a laptop with solder RAM? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes you need to reprogram the BIOS, sometimes you don't. You have to reprogram the BIOS and change certain strap resistors. And which strap resistors do you change? How do you reflash the BIOS? You figure it out as you go. Welcome to the world of independent repair, my friends. Welcome to the world of independent repair. Have you tried Blender video editing? No, because that's like, no. It's kind of like building a modern version of the Apollo computer from the late 1960s in order to use IRC. It's just, like the amount of, it's so fucking complicated. It's so unnecessarily insanely complicated. No, I'd rather bang my head against the wall than do that. How come you change the place from where you recorded your videos? The armchair and the kitty buddy made it such a cozy feel. Because this is in a place that is easier to relax in. So this is my apartment in New Hampshire, in beautiful New Hampshire, which has had a little bit less seasonal affective disorder since we're heading into summer. So, what are your thoughts on the Gadget laptop? Never heard of it. Lewis is slow as fuck at typing. Fight me, bro. Don't make me beat you. I found new batteries being sold online for an old phone I want to revive. However, I'm worried that the batteries may not retain a charge given their shelf life. Advice. Buy it and then file a chargeback if it's bad. Going on the pull is slang for going to pick up women or men. I've never heard that slang in my life, and I'm 33. I like a few others here. I want to thank you for your content. Your BS meter is the best there is, and also the way you deliver and make the BS obvious for us to understand. Thank you. janair.com. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. If there's exposed wires in a laptop charger, right the part where it connects to the brick part of it, and the spark while plugging it in, can electrical tape fix? No! No! Get a new fucking charger, man. Even if you're going to get a knockoff charger from a decent company, I'd rather have a knockoff charger than have some shit where it's fucking sparking. Take care. I got to hit the hay. Eat. Thank you, Cyrus. I ate a lot of food already, so I'm not going to eat any more, but I will drink more of this unsweetened, no sugar iced tea. No sugar iced tea. Have you discussed the recent Google I.O.? No, because I have no idea what that is. Doing a collab video with Flying Wheels YouTube. Who is that? I don't... Louis, are you part of Ultra MAGA Gem? What the fuck is Ultra MAGA? You're the same age as me. I believe you're precisely a month younger. I used to go on the pull when I was 18. Oh, so it's that's some UK slang. Yeah, I don't understand the UK. I don't understand the old English people. I don't get their slangs, I'm afraid. I've never been there. I do understand that they use words like bollocks and taking the piss and stuff like that, but I don't get the rest of it. I'm a girl. I'm always afraid of girls too. Pharmacists that give my patients trouble filling out my prescriptions are mostly female. Yeah, I was going to say that for the one person that's afraid of girls, if he doesn't do a border pair video once a week, I was going to take him speed dating with me. I think that would be a good enough punishment to get him to actually do a border pair video every week. I don't know. What do you think is better, Intel or AMD? Depends on the time. Like in 2005, AMD was shitting on Intel. 2006, 7, like Intel started to come back a little bit. 2009, Intel fucking destroyed AMD. 2018, 19, AMD started shitting on Intel. Right now, I think they're still shitting on Intel. And then it's like a pendulum that kind of goes back and forth. Sad as real, I'm in Seattle. I feel sorry for you. I'm very sorry. I know how much seasonal affective disorder sucks. When you wake up every fucking day and it's miserable, no amount of vitamin D3 that you take is gonna, or that you supplement is gonna make looking out the window at fucking miserable weather every day better. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I feel for you. Have you been to Alberta? I have not. Thoughts on Asus gaming laptop? I don't really care about them. Would you get a Neuralink? Fuck no. I'm not putting Elon Musk shit inside my brain. I've already seen the fucking build quality of his cars. You want me to solder his shit inside my fucking brain? Are you nuts? He can't even figure out how to make a door that doesn't rattle on a Model 3. No. Hi, Lewis. I like your border pair videos. Well, you're one of... You're part of the 0.5% there. Thank you. Gadget is making laptops with the focus on being easy to repair. It seems promising. Linus did a review, I think, a year ago. Well, I hope they managed to make something good. Once it's released and not vaporware, that's cool. If you are a small college town that is 2 hours from an Apple store, is there any worth to the Apple Repair Program? Do they send you warranty work or customers? I'm trying to find more on it. In my opinion, no, because you get to buy parts that are almost as expensive as what Apple charges for the actual repair. So there's not really much profit margin in it for you. You're going to be spending a lot of money on a lot of parts, and you're going to spend a lot of time. You're going to invest a lot of money into tools and all these certifications to be able to make what, like $20 to $30 per repair? I mean, really? You're going to pay like $200 or $300 for a part to make $20? After you put 20 or 30 minutes of your work in, after you pay rent, after you pay employees? Like, best of luck with that, man. That seems like a losing proposition to me. I would much rather deal with turning a wire and a little bit of solder into $200 or $400 than deal with turning a $250 part into $280 via some Apple program. Again, that's why I don't really focus much on iPhone screen repair. I don't focus on the things that are simple and easy to do that everybody else can do. I tried to make my niche focusing on shit that nobody knew how to do, and it worked. So if you want to open, if you're in that type of college town and you're near an Apple store and you want to open a store that does all the services that they don't do, go for it. If you want to offer a Me Too service where you're doing pretty much the same thing that they do at a similar price, at a low profit margin, no. That's just my advice. And again, there are people in this industry that make way more money than me, that are way more successful than me, that are way more well-known than me, that are better at business than me, that make all those things work that I have not figured out how to work. So that doesn't mean that my answer is the right answer. That's just my answer through my own experience. You're a charismatic speaker. Whenever I hear you talk in public, you give the same vibes that JFK did while speaking. Is that your way of saying I'm going to get shot in the head? I hope not. I hope I don't give off the same vibes. I don't want to get shot in the head by some crazy fuck. But thank you. Yeah, I totally pulled that speech out of my ass. Like I was told about 2 days ago about this, 2 or 3 days ago, and I procrastinated writing something, and then I never wrote anything. And then I didn't get to bed last night until like 1 or 2 in the morning. I had to wake up at 5:30 today just to be able to get there in time to give that speech. And while I was in the car, I was listening to music, and admittedly, I was just too tired to prepare something. So I think I started, like, I worked on the first line of it in the car while I was doing my live stream, while I was driving on the driving channel, because I have a driving channel for anybody who's curious. And I did it for about, I practiced for about 30 seconds in the car, and then I stopped and went back to listening to music. And then I got there, and then I was actually supposed to be the 5th speaker, but apparently I was only the 3rd speaker because 2 people didn't show up. So then I'm thinking of what I should say while I'm up there, and it's like, fuck, I already have to go. Ah, shit. And I just made something up. I don't know. The thing is, essentially, at the end of the day, you need to get people's attention. You need to make them laugh. You need to make them smile, and you need to take them off guard. It's honestly, it's really just like asking a woman out. Like, if you're reading off a piece of paper, they're going to say no. If you get the woman that you're trying to ask out to laugh, to be interested, you catch her off guard with something, you actually have a chance of piquing their interest and getting them to give 2 shits of a fuck that you exist. It's literally the same thing. Like, public speaking is pretty much like asking people out. So one of the things I said in my live stream, Mr. Clinton Greeny Fun, thank you, Funky Fudge, is if you want to get better at public speaking, if you're afraid of public speaking, then get better at rejection. You'll immediately become better at public speaking. Again, you don't just like walk down the fucking street and ask people out. Like, go to a nightclub or go to some place where it's expected that you're going to be engaging in this type of behavior in some way, and get rejected a bunch of times. Like, seriously, go out there and get rejected 500 out of 500 times, and you'll find just practice it. It's a skill. Catch somebody off guard, but bring them back to get them but pique their interest while you're catching them off guard. Get their interest, and keep their interest, and then go in. I don't know. I'm not really a great public speaker, but I don't give a shit about rejection. And I think that makes it easier for me to show up with news cameras on me, completely unprepared, half asleep after I got 4 hours of sleep, and be able to just, come up with some shit that sounds halfway decent. If you could hear me, I'm Lamo. Thank you. Thank you for Lamoing, Caf J. I'm a Mennonite. We don't have TVs, but I have this computer. Is that weird to you? It is kind of weird because I know there's a difference between Amish and Mennonites. I think that Mennonites compromise a little bit less. I mean, a little bit, because they compromise a little bit more to try to integrate in modern society than the Amish. I understand not dealing with technology, but not having a television and having a computer seems like cheating. It really does. Like, what makes this different than a television? You're not allowed to have a television, but a television is simply somebody transmitting to you a broadcast of somebody's video and audio so that you could be entertained by what's in the television screen. And what is a computer? It's a screen. And you're getting broadcast audio and video from some random person for the purposes of informing or entertaining you. And that is technology. Any interest in motorcycles? Nah, I had some a long time ago, but I can never get the hang of the clutch. And also the problem that I had was, since I was used to brake here, front brake here, rear brake here, shift down here, shift up here, throttle here, and then I had to get used to throttle going the other way because I put the throttle the other way on my bike, shifter on my right foot, brake on my right foot, clutch here. It's like, what the fuck is all this? It totally fucked up my muscle memory. So after spending years riding my custom-built e-bike, when I got on a motorcycle, my muscle memory was so fucked. I was doing all the wrong things to try to shift, and it was horrible. I kept doing this to try to shift gears instead of using my foot. It fucked me up a lot, and I never wound up continuing with the lessons. You keep doing this much good. You don't think the powers that be will see you as a threat? I don't think so. Like, honestly, I really don't think I've done jack shit when it comes to, like, when people make those jokes, they're like, oh, you better make sure you don't get killed. I mean, like, I'll just give you an example. Let me give you an example, right? So my channel over the past several years, let me open up a YouTube analytics window, all right? I'm gonna open up a YouTube analytics window. Studio.youtube.com. Where is the live subscriber count? Shit. Where do we have the live subscriber count? Channel analytics. One moment. See live count. Okay, here we go. Where are you? I am wherever you think I am. I am in a state that has live free or die as its license plate. Okay, so check this out. You guys ready? So this is my YouTube Studio analytics. This is my channel growth, right? So this is my channel from the very beginning. I had 0, I had nothing. Then I started getting subscribers around like mid-2013. After that reseller ratings video went viral, once I started to gain subscribers. Now this is the history of the channel, right? Now, this is Apple stock. Ready? Check it out. Apple stock. So I started my channel here when Apple stock was like $15, and now Apple stock is $146. So Apple has gone up in value by a factor of 10 since I started my channel. Do you think that company gives two shits of a fuck that I exist? They don't even notice me. It's not even like I'm a mosquito. It's not even like I bit them a little bit and I'm giving them an itch later on that mildly bothers them. They don't care. The fact that I exist does not mean anything. The videos that I've done going over how horrible their engineering was in many of their products and how poorly they treated their customers by trying to skirt accountability and responsibility for selling fucked up $3,000 products when they knew that what they were selling didn't work and they didn't stand behind their products, it's literally had no effect other than them going up in value 1,000%. Nothing. Like literally nothing. I've had no effect whatsoever. Like right to repair is not even remotely close to passing right now. Like it's not passed, and I've been doing this shit since 2014 or 15. You still can't buy chips and schematics and diagrams. If anything, it's harder to buy shit now than it was 10 years ago, because at least 10 years ago, you could buy a screen you could buy an LP133W1 TJAA or a B116XW05 for an A1370 or an A1369. You could buy those screens for anywhere from $39 to $72. Now you can't even buy them at all. I mean, if anything, it's gotten harder now to do this type of work than it was before. There's less stuff available now than there was before. And Apple's worth way more. Like I've genuinely done nothing that would even be worth it. Like for Apple, for any of those companies, when people make this joke, for them to even pay a crackhead on the street $70 to off me, that literally wouldn't even be worth the $70. To a company that has $200 billion in the bank, to pay $70 to off me wouldn't even be worth it because I've had no effect on them whatsoever. Would you do Joe Rogan? I would not have sex with Joe Rogan, although I'm sure he is an attractive man. Would you like to rephrase that? You may want to rephrase that. I lost track of where I was. Have you seen the new streaming features on YouTube, like pushing live viewers to another video once you end? That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that. I don't know how that works. I have to. Thanks for not compromising in your ideas. You're an inspiration. For Mr. Clinton. Thank you. I will give him $1 worth of greenies and keep the $9 for me. That's how this works. He breaks enough of my stuff. I don't think I haven't compromised on my ideals because I'm an inspiration or a good person. I think it's simply because I haven't been presented with a good enough opportunity. I mean, like, I've never had the experience of somebody walking up to me and saying, hey man, here's $2 million to stop what you're doing. I don't know what that experience is like. Okay, actually, I take it back. There was one person that was implying they would buy my business for $1 to $3 million 6 years ago, but they presented me with an absolute garbage contract that would not allow me to make these videos into the future and also give them ownership over my older videos so that they could remove them and potentially keep me from making board repair videos and right to repair content in the future. And B, I had no evidence that this was actually a genuine, real offer. It kind of felt like it was hollow. So I didn't take it seriously. But if it was serious, I kind of wonder what I would have done. I mean, like, I haven't had the experience of somebody walking up to me saying, here's $2 or $3 million to just like do the opposite of everything you're doing. Like, stop doing the right to repair fighting shit. Stop doing this. Delete the videos that you've made on Apple or other companies. Don't show people how to fix shit. Like, I mean, if that happened, I can't tell you how I'd react because it hasn't credibly happened. You know, a lot of people think that they're not evil. They think that they're good people. And I don't think anybody should ever think of themselves as a good person. Not because everybody is bad, but rather just so you don't lie to yourself. So you have a little bit of a sense of self-honesty so that you understand that everybody has the potential inside of them for evil, including you. I don't assume that I'm a good person because when you assume you're a good person, it's easy to start saying, well, if I'm doing this, it must be because I'm in the pursuit of good. It's easy to start justifying being a complete and utter prick to even the people that you love and care about if it's in the pursuit of doing something that's, quote, good. So I always try to check myself, assume I'm doing something bad. But, like, I mean, if I haven't had the experience, it's not like I haven't sold out because I'm a good person. Don't think that. It's just, like, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have the experience of people coming up to me and saying, here's $2 million to shill for this company. Here's $3 million to stop what you're doing. Here's $1.5 million to buy your business from you. Like, I haven't had that experience. So once I have that experience, then you could say that. Like, once I've actually given something up, once there's a cost, sure. I think a lot of people think I'm good because I haven't sold out. But the reality is most people don't even have anything to sell out. You know? Like most people don't have anything to sell. So it's easy for them to say, I haven't sold out. And it's like, yeah, well, nobody's trying to buy you. You have no value to them. I like how, you know, for all the features YouTube's adding, they still haven't made a functional chat. Because as you scroll, once you, like, for instance, I'm in chat right now at 8:56 p.m. It's now 9:06 p.m. Once I scroll to a certain amount, it will automatically take me all the way to the recent chat, and just all the chats that are in between that I was actually reading will be gone, and I'll have to scroll all the way back up and find it, and it wastes a lot of time. It's very annoying. Especially because I actually do read through all the unpaid chat. I don't just read paid chat. I specifically read through everything. You keep doing much good. You know, oh, yeah, I read that one already. Didn't know margins were thin. New store is rent-free. Long story, but I was thinking about how to get people in the door. Yeah, again, James, Half Horse, if you're doing board repair, data recovery, other shit like that, or LCD screen only repairs where you're on a MacBook Pro, you're buying for a 13-inch just the LCD panel for $115, and you're replacing that and charging $300 to $500. It's a very difficult job. It's very difficult to get perfectly correct. But like if you're doing that, I can understand it. But if you're taking an iPhone screen that's $230 and you're putting it in their phone for $250 or $260, like what are you doing? If you're taking a battery that you paid $30 for and you're putting it in somebody's phone for $40, what are you doing? I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to do that and you can find a way to make it make money, great. You're a smarter business person than I am. I found it more viable to deal with. I will sell you 20 minutes of my brain in exchange for $200 or $400. And that's what you're doing with board repair once you do the upfront investment. Speed dating with voters, nice. What does that mean? I always knew Lewis was secretly trying to woo me. Perhaps. Tried that off-guard thing once when asked somebody out, got shot down immediately. Hey, listen, 99.999% of the women that I ask out shoot me down immediately too. But the thing is, it's kind of like, it's a skill set. You know, it's something that it will atrophy and get worse to the point where you get shut down 100% of the time if you don't actually try at all. I don't know. Like, don't stop trying just because you get turned down once. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. I believe in right to repair. I was able to fix a phone that had a faulty part. Your videos inspired me to learn soldering. That's very cool. Will you do a Steven Crowder show? No, why not? He wants to talk about right to repair, sure. I'll do that. I think Joe Rogan is super positive and would probably be in favor of right to repair. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem going on Joe Rogan's show. I'd be happy to drive down to Texas. If guns were legal in New York City, would you own one? I'll be honest, I'm a complete proponent of the Second Amendment. But if guns were illegal in New York City, I think I'd feel weird there. Because think about it. When you have areas of Texas and Florida and Tennessee, they grew up with gun culture. You know, their dads had guns, their grandpas had guns, their great-grandpas had guns. So how to act as a civilized society when everybody has a gun is kind of like that's built into it. You go to Houston, Texas, or I don't know, Franklin, Tennessee. Like that's part of the culture there. In New York City, everybody is just vibrating with anger all the time and stress and like, grr. They're just waiting to punch somebody or just lose their shit on somebody when somebody does something slightly wrong just because there's just so many things to be stressed about. So if 8.5 million people could just walk into a store and get a gun in New York City, I'm pro Second Amendment, but I don't know. That would be kind of be weird. Like I think that it would eventually get to a point where it would be something that everybody was used to, people were accustomed to. I do think that after the adjustment period of 5 to 30 years passed, everything would be hunky-dory. During that adjustment period, I would likely want to live in another state. If Apple poached you, what would be your minimum buy-in? I don't know. 750,000 to 1.2 million probably. But being honest, probably 750,000 bucks. I'm a cheap date, to be honest with you. I'm a cheap date. Will you open another Rossmann repair shop in New Hampshire or stay there long term? I don't know. You weren't kidding about the reporter? Hope it works out. Ha! Ha! Funny. Funny. Thank you for the $5. They are Crocs, and you are the mosquito. You are probably the most credible threat to right to repair lobbying efforts they've ever had to contend with. Yeah, and I still lose every single time in every single state. So, yeah. Lewis may underestimate how much money Apple has to throw at anything even remotely threatening their bottom line. They could hire an army just for PR, and it wouldn't count as a rounding error. Yeah, it's probably already do. Again, they don't even have to do all that. They don't even have to do that. I'm already losing. I mean, I'm still trying, but I still lose. I think if you consider the long-term impact Lewis could have on right to repair, it would be worth far more than $70 to the company. A crackhead on the street will not offer you for $70. They will buy more crack. Now, a crackhead on the street will offer you for free, or for $70 worth of crack. You're a true and honest game changer. You're smart. Don't idolize me. Don't idolize me, politely evil Dan. Please don't. Ever consider getting a gun? What makes you think I don't already have one? Would you compromise your ideals for a Klondike bar? I've never tried one before, so I don't know. I have to say I would probably sell out for a few million, sell myself and my family up for life if invested right. Yeah, a lot of people don't think about that. People that say I've never sold out, 99% of the people that say that have never actually had an opportunity. They've never had the opportunity. So it's easy for you to say that when you have the temptation. Like, Bill Burr had a skit on this about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anybody remember that skit? Or no, it wasn't about him. It was about Tiger Woods. And he was saying, so when Tiger Woods, who's worth over $750 million, he goes out to his car and there is just a truckload of Scandinavian models happy to take their panties off in the backseat of his car that are half his age. You're saying that you wouldn't do that. You're not going to be horrible like him. As if you've ever been tempted that way. Like, I remember he said, like, when you waddle out to your 1996 Mercury Tracer, I'm sure that you have the exact same level of temptation. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, but seriously, most people don't. Like, Bill Burr was right. That's why I think he's one of the best comedians ever, and I'm going to feel really bad when he eventually gets canceled for his 2012 special, even though his 2012 special is one of the best pieces of comedic genius of all time. Is that, like, most people that say, I would not sell out, I wouldn't do that, have never been fucking presented with it. Because when you walk out to your Mercury Tracer, with your $25,000 job at Walmart, no offense, God bless you if you're responsible for stocking shelves with food and necessary things people have. Again, as Bill Burr says, the guy that's working at Home Depot, he doesn't have that option because gold digging whores don't really care about lumber. Maybe they started caring about lumber in mid-2020 when the prices started going insane as that housing bubble started getting inflated. But you get the point. Like, most people that say I don't sell out, they've never had an opportunity to sell out. So it's so fucking disingenuous when they sit there and say I would never do that, or I'm so moral and ethical. It's like, no, you're not. You shut the fuck up. You've never even had the opportunity to be immoral or unethical because you don't offer enough value in any way. You don't offer enough value to anybody for it to even be worth purchasing you. Once you have enough value that it's actually worth purchasing you to either gain your skill set to be used for evil or to shut you up, then we'll talk. But as long as your skill set is so useless that it can't be put to use for evil, or it can't be used as an adversary to somebody who's powerful to the point where they're willing to give you $1 million to shut up, then it's worthless. It doesn't mean anything. Saying that I'm not evil only matters if you have the potential to be evil. If you don't even have the potential to be evil, then saying I've never been evil doesn't really matter. Self-righteousness can be a disease. I agree, Ahmed. I agree. Don't say that, Lewis. You make enough on YouTube and your business to not sell out. Really now? Oh, politely evil Dan. Okay. You've seen my bank accounts. You've seen the letters that I've gotten from my audit recently. I'm sure you know my financial situation perfectly as a random unnamed person on the internet. You're making my point here. You're making my point. Lewis, you have morality. Don't assume that much. I do use Linux. I like it. Will you ever invoke your Second Amendment and get a gun? Asked and answered. I'd sell out for an F-350 and a pack of Reds. What's a pack of Reds? I think you wouldn't sell out. Your conscience would eat you alive. I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna make that assumption. I'm not gonna make that assumption until I've had the opportunity. Once I've had the opportunity, I can speak to you about it. But I'm not gonna assume that I'm a moral person when I haven't had the opportunity, when I haven't even been approached about selling out. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Taking the family for a mousetrap in Florida next month. You have any suggestions for side attractions? Honestly, the most fun that I had in Florida was driving slowly down A1A as the sun was setting. Don't drive down the normal highway in the interstate. Drive down A1A. Drive down A1A as the sun is setting and do it at different times. Like, do it a couple of times because the sunset is not going to last for the full 6 hours that you're going to be going down there. Drive down and enjoy the view. A1A, just the full stretch. I found that more fun than anything else I did in Florida. It was very, very relaxing and calming for me. And just walking around downtown Fort Lauderdale, yeah, just walking in a circle. I don't know what it is about that area of the country. I don't know what it is. Like, it has a lot of New Yorkish features to it, and I don't like New York very much, but walking around the Fort Lauderdale area, I don't know what it did for me. It just did something to my brain, and I just felt more relaxed. Like, I felt like life was going to be okay. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's how the fucking earth was terraformed there or something, but that was what my personal trainer was saying. You have to tell us what happened with Erica. No, I don't. It's none of your fucking business. I mean, you don't even know how to spell her name right. Why do you want to know the business of people whose name you can't even spell? We had a relationship. The relationship ended. That's that. You know, that was not the person I was going to marry. She's a lovely human being, not romantically compatible, so we go our separate ways. I wish her a great life. She wishes me a great life, and that's that. Yeah, like, I don't know any of you people enough to actually let you into my personal life in that way. That's just weird. That's very weird. Very strange. Very strange. And even if I did say something, I would get asked every fucking day anyway. If there's anything I've learned from my border pair videos when I do them and I get people in the live chat, Shengwo at the Young Turks, while working at MSNBC, was told that the MSNBC are insiders and people in Washington weren't happy by his tone. He chose not to sell out. Yeah, I mean, good for him. You know, he started his own channel. He does his own thing. I don't agree with a lot of the shit on the channel that he says, but at the very least, what he's saying is what he believes to some extent. I imagine that there is a good amount of money to be made from that YouTube channel. And I also think that there are investors in it. So you'd really need to see, like, how much was he getting paid at MSNBC? How much was he getting paid there? I would never sell out unless they promised to feed me. You fuck, I feed you every day, you fucking fat bastard cat. Where was I? Shit, I lost my place in this thing. What are some good budget floor standing speakers? Vandersteen Model 2. Get the Vandersteen Model 2 or 2CE. You can often find them used, depending on condition, from $400 to $750. They sound like a set of $3,000 to $10,000 speakers, very cheap, phase coherent, really even frequency response. They don't have baffles and they don't have giant cabinets, which gives, so you're not going to get the cabinet resonances you get with most other speakers. Once you listen to a set of Vandersteens, like the 2 or the 3, and then you listen to any other speaker, you'll hear this coloration that comes from the cabinet that's just not there. Like, it's just so weird when you listen to them. It's like somebody just popped your ears. It's not like the treble is added for no reason. It's not like, I'm not saying popped your ears in terms of the treble is heightened. I'm saying that it sounds like you're just listening to music. You're just listening to the recording. You're not listening to the recording being played by a bunch of drivers that in a fucking giant box that has cabinet resonances and baffle diffraction issues and all that shit. You're just listening to bliss. That's what I would suggest. Just don't buy them new. No offense to Mr. Vandersteen, he's a great designer, but like, their speakers new are so fucking expensive. Like, you can get a set of Vandersteen Model 2Cs for $400 to $750 on AudioGon, Craigslist, eBay, any of those websites. Why would you subject yourself to speed dating? I mean, it's a skill. Like, again, here's the thing: if you get rejected on Tinder or Bumble or any OkCupid, any of this other garbage, you haven't learned anything. You haven't learned a skill. You haven't bettered yourself at anything. You just sat there giving yourself arthritis all day doing this. What'd you do? If you go speed dating, you ask people out in the real world, you're still going to fucking fail a lot. There's still a good chance you ask out 500 people and you get 500 no's. Take it from somebody that asked out 500 people and got 500 no's in a row at one point in his life. But the thing is, you learn from each interaction. With each interaction, you become a slightly better public speaker. With each interaction, you get a little bit more confident. You get a little better of an idea of how people react to different things you say and different things you do. And you learn. There's something to actually be learned because you're having a real interaction with a real person. Whereas with like Tinder, OkCupid, Bumble, all this other bullshit, like, what do you learn from doing this? You get nothing out of this. Again, when you get rejected, here's the thing. The benefit of Tinder and Bumble and OkCupid is there's no rejection, right? So when somebody swipes left on you, you don't know that they swiped left on you. You only get an interaction. You only interact with people and message them when they have also swiped right on you. However, the downside to this approach is, since you are never being rejected, you don't know what that feels like. You never get to have that interaction. You never get to learn something from the rejection. Because this is the thing. There's something to learn from each rejection. Oh, I thought this person liked me when they said this. Apparently they didn't. Oh, I thought this person was interested because they leaned in and started, expounding on a conversation when I didn't really express interest. Or they laughed at something that I didn't think was that funny that I said. And they leaned in and touched my shoulder or whatever. But, I don't know. They weren't as interested as I thought. Versus, oh, okay, that's the difference in this scenario that makes it different. That's the specific detail in this scenario that made it different from that one where I thought they liked me, but they didn't. Okay, now I get it. You're going to learn all these small things. Rejection is a great teacher. You're going to learn a lot from it. And if you never subject yourself to rejection because you shield yourself from rejection by using these dating apps that fuck your brain the same way that most modern social media fucks your brain, you're never going to grow in that regard. You need to get rejected in order to grow. Whether you're selling MacBook repair services out of the front of the store, or whether you're asking out random people, like it's part of life. It's part of learning. So if you do speed dating, it's like, okay, you get to get rejected by 5 people in 10 minutes. That's a lot of learning to do in a short period of time. How do you feel about Bitcoin? Consensual Ponzi scheme. I tried live streaming my bike with my GoPro Live. Oh, good luck with that. And we all know how that goes. Very painful. How have you pulled off live streaming from your bike? I use my phone, and I have a mic. So I use my phone. I strap it to the bike, and then I have a microphone that plugs into it because my phone is a 3.5 millimeter jack. That's right. I have a real phone. I have a phone with a fucking headphone jack, and it only cost me $300 used. And that shotgun microphone from Rode, it has one of those windscreen mounts on it that looks like a dead cat. I always hate saying that because if Mr. Clinton's watching, he's going to be really offended at me. But I have that plugged in so that you don't hear the noises badly. Also, what I used to do is I used to use a DPA. If that was when I was live streaming, recommendation for a good entry or mid-range amp. Used Adcom, used Parasound, used NAD, used Rotel. The amp is not really what matters. What matters is your room and the speakers. So for the room, you want to get good acoustic panels. And for the speakers, get a nice set of cheap Vandersteins. The amp, you're never going to fucking notice. Literally buy the cheapest shit you can. I'm serious. You get something that can deal with a 4 ohm load without shitting itself. That's all you need to care about. Can it handle a 4 ohm load without shitting itself? And does it have a decent amount of power? In an ABX blind test, dare I say it, you will never tell the difference between most amplifiers. If it's a competently designed amplifier, you are not going to tell the fucking difference between it. You're really not. A cheap-ass audio source amp versus a Rotel, 1060 or whatever. The Rotel 1060 is more competently designed than the audio source piece of shit. But in an ABX test, if they're level matched, you're never going to fucking tell the difference. It's just not going to happen. And a bunch of people are going to say, I can tell the difference because of their ego. But then when you actually put an ABX blind test comparator in front of them and say, prove to me that in 12 out of 16 instances, when I play A, which is the cheap amp, and B, which is the Rotel, and then X, and you got to tell me which one is X, they're not going to be able to tell you because they're full of shit. The fact that somebody at Stereophile wrote this long fucking diatribe on how ABX testing is bad, that's cope. Because the thing is, once you actually have blind testing and you can prove that the $30,000 equipment that they're making a living on reviewing sounds the same as the $200 equipment in a scientific setting, you've destroyed their entire business model. You've destroyed most of their sponsors. You've destroyed most of their advertisers. You've destroyed their 5-page reviews pretending that they can hear the fucking difference due to placebo from this shit and that shit. Speakers have a big difference. Room has a big difference. So the money that you invest, for instance, going from a $200 set of speakers to a $1,000 set of speakers, that can make a massive difference. Going from $0 in room treatment to $400 in room treatment makes a massive difference. Going from a $200 amplifier to a $1,000 amplifier, you're literally not going to hear it. And most people that tell you that they're going to hear the difference, when you put them in front of an ABX test, they will not be able to tell the fucking difference. And then they're going to do what they do at Stereophile, which is a bunch of cope, where they start, intellectualizing why ABX testing is not real and not good and all. It's so full of shit. So for an amp, the cheapest thing that's competent, just buy some used 10 or 20-year-old stereo receiver, any basic thing that can deal with a 4 ohm load, and you're good. After that, put your money into the speakers and the room treatment. Buy any cheap-ass 12-gauge cable that you can, any normal-ass, again, as long as it has competent shielding, RCA cabling or whatever, all that's going to be fine. What you want is to spend your money on the speakers and the acoustic treatment. The rest, don't fucking torture yourself on amps. No 300, fuck you, Copaz, no $300 audio cables. Why have women anyways? Money is all you need. If you got money, you can have all the women you want. That's not 100% true. Again, if you listen to Kevin Samuel's show and you listen to all the people call in, you'll get the idea that a lot of people want women that make 200K or more. I mean, a lot of women want men that make 200 or 400 or 500K or more. But there are also a lot of men that are so bad in how they deal with anybody, not just women, that even when they're worth over $1 million, they still can't get a date. So there's a certain point at which money just does not make up for it. Now, again, don't get me wrong. If you're worth $80 billion, then that's different. But like most of the people watching this are not going to really be worth that much. So I don't think that that's a worthwhile conversation. Hello, Jamie. How are you doing? Be interesting talks with a girl. If I like you, I might ask you when lights come on to come to my hot tub. The guy said, how about you come to my hot tub? I guess I'm not getting a date because I don't have a hot tub. Can you unlock an Apple phone without a password? No. Just give it back to whoever you stole it from. Filing taxes is the best thing to do around Verge. What are your thoughts on Hillary Clinton? I'm not a big fan of her. I think she's very unlikable. I think she goes out of her way to be as unlikable as possible. If anybody else was running against Trump in 2016, they would have won. But they won. They ran the shittiest candidate possible. When it comes to selling out, sometimes you got to take the money, but never take the money if you don't need it. I don't know. Even if you don't need it, you never know. We started GoFundMe and buy Lewis. Nice try. I'm at the chat at 9:11, so I'm behind by 17 minutes. It's weird how you don't even snooze and yet you still lose. Interesting. Mother owns an apartment complex in LA and rent control. What's your opinion on rent control? I don't think it works very well. I don't know. My opinion of rent control would probably be a copy and paste of the opinion of rent control that's in a book called Basic Economics, which I think is a good read. It has a very boring title. It's not an exciting title, but it's a very good book. It's called Basic Economics. I think you would enjoy the book. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Do you think this is true? I think it's half. It's at $750K after taxes. Yes, after taxes, not before taxes. Bill Burr is a legend. I agree, Ahmed. I haven't dabbled with 3D printing at all. Humans' ability to rationalize will always make selling out an okay option. True. You know, I find this with advertising people a lot. Like, there are people that do nothing but they'll come up with these crazy terms for what it is they do. You know, something like, I connect people who have a vision with people who would benefit from that vision. It's like, no, you don't. You fucking help them spam AdWords. Like, get out of here. I mean, like, you know, they're not to say that that's selling out, but that just, like, I've seen a lot of people that have jobs that are just degrading. They're not really that great. They're not really promoting products or services they believe in. They're doing something that's really fucking monotonous. They're responsible for something that 99% of the population, if they had the option to block it, would just block it immediately. They don't get anything out of it. It's usually deceptive. So they come up with these ways to frame what they do in a way that's very virtuous and exciting. Give me 1 second. I'm going to open a window. It's kind of getting warm in here. Don't super chat. Okay. You'd be surprised how many sluts go to Home Depot looking for some hard D. You see, I don't know. I stick with Bill Burr there. I don't think they're interested in lumber, but I could be wrong. You'd have to answer, but I thought you were married. I don't know where you got that idea from. I've never said I was married. Lewis is blue-collar Jordan Peterson, and I love it. Huh? I don't get that. Damn you, Kopaz. You check out New Bafang Motors and then bus and CAN bus locked to the bat mofos. No, I haven't, because honestly, I've gone through so many BBS HDs, it's ridiculous. For the $600, it's real. I don't really think it's a quality motor. The next one that I get would be a Cyclone. And this has nothing to do with locking CAN buses or any of that shit. It has to do with the fact that they're just like, for $600, you could just get something that's a lot better. Anyone here care about K-12 tech in schools? They're just throwing devices out. Honestly, I wish I could figure out how to be one of the people that like gets that shit for free when they throw it out. But to do that, I think you need to be more of a salesman than I am. I will tell you what to do, funky fudge. But I wish I could be the person that gets that shit. You know, there's this company, Ascentech. They get all sorts of shit. I've heard that they get all sorts of crap for like close to free, and then they wind up reselling it. And Like, I remember buying a lot of 30 or 50 laptops from them, and it was very obvious that they had pre-sorted it. By pre-sorted, I mean somebody tried to fix all of them, and only the ones that were really difficult or somebody else fucked up went into my pile. And then I bought that. And like every time I've tried to get, machines to recycle or refurbish, it's always been like that. I wish I could be the person that gets the stuff before it gets sorted, but I don't know how to be that person. I don't know how to get, I don't know if it's being lucky, being, I don't know, the alpha Chad of the football team that just knows how to talk to all the superintendents. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I've never been good at that. Right to repair is also a problem for laboratory equipment, which means tax dollars are getting wasted. We have to scavenging parts off eBay. Only other option is absurdly priced service contracts. I think more people got to speak up in their industries. I'm not a good advocate for industries I'm not really aware of. Like I've talked about it with medical equipment, but I don't understand all of it. I've talked about it with agricultural equipment, but I don't work on a farm. I was born in Brooklyn. There's probably 3 trees in that entire barrel, much less farmland. Stop that, Dakota. But thank you. Well, I think more people need to speak up in their particular industries, and there needs to be more advocacy. One thing I didn't say this morning that I probably should have said was that the reason you don't hear about this being talked about more is because people who are in the tech industry or people who are in computer nerds and stuff like that or tech savvy, they tend to be shy and socially awkward, so they don't speak up and advocate for themselves. But better late than never. We're starting to now. I think more people in more fields speak up about this so that people understand what's going on. But for that to happen, you got to speak up. You got to say something. Where is you reading these comments from? The internet. Thank you, the coder. I don't use Linux. Linux uses me. That's what it feels like every time I'm forced to read a man page to do something I could do in Windows for free. Timothy Carpenter. My honest opinion, Apple is only aware of iFixit in your market segment because they generate an 8-figure year. What's year? It's a potential revenue stream and they don't want to leave money on the table, nothing more. Yeah, I forget how many employees iFixit has. Like they have either 50 or 100. Kyle knows how to run a fucking business. I know how to run a business into the ground. Again, I think we've been around for almost the same amount of time, and Kyle has 100 plus employees, and I have 12, and I'm shrinking. And he has 100 and he's growing, so he knows what he's doing. Why are you philosophical all the time? Because I'm answering people's questions. Go away. Don't be a buzzkill. How can I help right to repair across state lines? By helping it in your own state. Maybe you switch to Linux. Looking at the Windows 11 requirements, I still do believe a lot of that in my reviews. It's a pain in the ass, but sometimes I get a kick of dopamine when I spend 5 hours. When I spend 5 hours trying to figure something out in Linux that took me 2 minutes in Windows, even though I wasted 4 hours and 58 minutes of my life, at the end of it, I'll still feel like, yes, I accomplished something. It's a false feeling of accomplishment. It's a fake feeling of accomplishment because I'm right back where I fucking started with an operating system that just works. But 20 years later, I still get that feeling. Like, stop it, coder. Stop it. In older videos, Great Wolf. In older videos, I do. In all the old board repair videos, when you scroll to the end of the description, it's there. Thank you, Great Wolf. If you want an opportunity to sell out, try getting VPN sponsors. Not enough. I'm not going to sell out for $3,000. Like, those VPN sponsors, max $3,000. I'm not selling out for $3,000. Like, fuck that. If I'm selling out, it's for something real. Like, I'm not saying I'm not a sellout. It's just I'm not selling out for Raid Shadow Legends or Raycons or Audible. Like, I'm selling out, it's so I can buy a house. If I'm selling out, it's so that I could go up to all my employees and say, here's a 50% pay raise. Enjoy. Like, if I'm going to sell out, it's going to be so that I can materially improve the lives of myself and the people around me. I'm not selling out for $3,000. But also, I've only had one opportunity to shell out for a sponsor ever, David Chang, and that was in 2019 for NordVPN. They offered $3,000. That was the only real sponsor opportunity I've ever gotten on this channel in 10 years. And also, by the way, you see how that would have went, because a few months later, there wound up being a security issue in one of their VPNs, and all the people that were shilling for them looked like morons. So I am, again, it's one of those things where, like, $1 million, $750K, yeah, 3,000. I'm not selling out for $3,000. Like, that's just bullshit. You hear NVIDIA is actually open sourcing their drivers. I heard rumors. I did not read the articles yet. I heard murmurs of it, but not the whole thing. Would you accept an invitation to be on the Joe Rogan Experience? I would. Yeah, why not? I'd drive down to Texas. That could be a fun conversation. How do you feel about online dating? I think I answered that one, but I think I'm very behind. Best way to kick habits like nail biting. Trade it for another one. Do you think Linus sold out? I don't know because I don't watch enough of his content. Like I don't. It's not like I didn't watch his stuff in 2013 and 14 religiously, and then start watching it again now. So I can't really see what the difference is. I watch his stuff primarily when I get linked to it, or when there's a particular topic of interest or concern that I mentioned in one of my videos that gets overlapped in one of his. I'll watch it, but like I don't know. But also, I mean, he says a lot of really nasty shit about Intel, and they give him a lot of money. So I don't think so. He said a good amount, and he said a lot of nasty shit about Intel, and Intel just pours a lot of money into Linus. It makes me happy every time I hear Linus shitting on Intel or complimenting AMD, knowing how much money he's probably getting from Intel. Also knowing that it's not just him getting the money. It's one thing if it's you getting the money. It's another when you're responsible for the lives, the mortgages, the rents, the car payments of 10 or 20 or 30 people, and you do that because then again you're risking everybody else's. So it's a difficult thing to balance. The laws of attraction apply. How you think is what you manifest around you. I don't know. It sounds like some very one-dimensional red pill bullshit. Too one-dimensional. What does cope mean in this context? It means cope. Copium. Cope. Linus has mouths to feed. If I had the opportunity to place a 10-second ad of my videos for $25K for Raid Shadow leggings, you better know I'm fucking doing it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when people say, you haven't sold out, it's, if a company offered me $25,000 to sell out, probably, yeah, why not? Every time I get one of those sponsorship emails, I've actually been responding to every single one. What I've been doing is I've been saying, I have never advertised a product or service on this channel for somebody else that I don't already use. For this to even be remotely worth my time, you're looking at a minimum of $10,000. It's not even like I would have done it because some of these companies, their products are just shit. I just wanted to see what they'd say. Like, would any of them actually come back to me? None of them ever did. So I don't have the opportunity to sell out that people think I do. Maybe in history when it comes to right to repair. I don't know. I think I'll be in history as the person that failed for 15 years before somebody else got it over the finish line in 6 months. My name ain't Louis Joe Johns. If somebody, if I got offered $20,000 or $50,000, like $20,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 to do some sort of ad, I don't know, I'd be open. But like just the fact that I respond to that and I've always gotten a no or like no response back, like I know I don't have the option to sell out. Don't assume that you're a good person. Assume that maybe it's just you don't have enough value to be worth somebody trying to purchase you yet. When you get rejected by amazing girls often enough, you become a value investor. I don't get it. Lots of low-quality people use dating apps. Lots of low-quality people try to date in real life, too. I do not have thoughts about Ukraine because I don't know. My foreign policy is not something I feel like I know enough about to be able to comment on at this time. Thanks for teaching me to get my own dopamine hits. Oh, thank you. Enjoy your dopamine hits. Hopefully you're getting them from good places and not drugs. Stereophile is cope. Massive cope. I felt more content and happy being alone than being with someone nowadays. I don't want to support someone. When I realized I was making myself miserable, trying a lot clicked. You're not with someone if you're miserable. If you're just because you spend time with an adversary doesn't mean you're with them. You're just spending time with an adversary. Like if a mosquito lands on you and sucks your blood, are you with the mosquito, or is that mosquito victimizing you and like sucking your blood? Don't assume that being with somebody is bad simply because you have a mosquito sucking your blood. They're very different things. When you're with someone, you're happier as a result of it. You're a better person as a result of it. And that other person is also a better person as a result of being with you. That's what being with somebody means. You can have a succubus that just, is an emotional succubus that ruins your life and fucks with you endlessly. But that doesn't mean you're with them. So yeah, I would say, here's what I would suggest. Use a different vocabulary there. Don't call that being with someone. I don't have a I don't know what you mean, what kind of chain on my Bafang copter. It's just a bike chain. And what do you have now? I think it's just a KMC 158 link, but it was done manually. So I took two 116 speed KMC 8 speed chains, and I cut it, and then I put them together with those little links that the KMC sends you, the extra, the little two clipping pieces, the clippy thingies. I don't use the master link in the cutter because I don't know how to do that. I always wind up fucking that up. So I just, there's those little clippy thingies, and that works for me. KMC. You grow a mustache. Never gonna happen. But yeah, but don't use that vocabulary because it'll fuck with your head. And then you'll start saying, well, being with anybody is bad because I was with somebody who was bad. You weren't with that person. That person was a fucking succubus on you. Use different vocabulary for it so you know what to avoid. Hello, Paul Daniels. Do you deal with data recovery? Steve deals with data recovery here. And Chris. And Orhan. And David. But I don't. If Steve saw me doing a data recovery, he would punch me in the face and take away my DD rescue. You know how mad Steve would get? Like, there was a Granada drive plugged in. He calls them grenades because they always have platter damage on the exact same part of the fucking platter when you get to a certain part in the drive. And like, if he sees that just to see what's going on, if I plug it in and I start DD rescue, he fucking runs over and screams at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So yeah, I don't touch drives. That's all Steve's shit. That's Steve's domain. Steve trains Orhan and Chris to work on them, and David does all the data recovery. Great work in the press conference today. If board repair fails, you can sell anything. We'll see. How do I job in computer repair with no experience? You make your own. That's what I did. I couldn't get a job, so I made one. They started advertising, this is what I do. I bought a bunch of broken shit, and I started messing with it until I felt like I was good enough. Once I felt like I was good enough, I started posting ads. I put ads where the services I was offering were faster, cheaper, better parts, better guarantee, and more convenient than other stores. So what I did is I called up those stores pretending to be a customer, and I just started poking around and asking questions based on what I would want as a repair customer. And then I would probe and figure out what the weaknesses were, whether it's slow, whether they can't give me a real price over the phone, whatever it is. And then I decided to tailor my specific service and also how I advertised my service specifically to respond to their weaknesses so that I would get customers that they wouldn't. And that was that. How do you get smooth live video from a phone and a bike? I tried DJI Osmo Mobile 3, shaky as fuck. Well, DJ, yeah, you can't use any of that stuff. No, okay, firstly, I don't do much live video on a bike. Anytime I'm doing live video, Samsung S10e. It's not the best camera in the world, but it's good enough. It has decent enough image stabilization. It's better than nothing. I use a DJI Osmo Action 4K for pre-recorded. Most of my bike videos are pre-recorded videos. And then I use this DPA microphone that I surround with a giant piece of foam. I'll put a piece of foam on it so that you don't hear the wind as badly. I'll put it up closer to my mouth, like really close to the edge of my mouth, so you get a better signal-to-noise ratio so you don't hear the wind as much. And I record the audio with the Zoom H1N. And then I'm not using the audio from that piece of shit DJI Osmo. I'm using the audio from this, this theater-grade microphone. You see the link I sent to you of Lewis and Right to Repair at Amanda Ford? Oh, okay, that's paying Amanda, not me. I'm a farmer, and is a big deal. The new generation is taking over the family farm and bringing in tech, but you can't just call a repair truck every time there's a problem during harvest. Agreed. Yeah, most of those companies, funky fudge. 99% of the companies that ask me to sell out, like they really think the product is payment. This company wanted to send me $150 worth of acoustic foam. Not even enough. Here's the thing. They're so fucking dumb and cheap. They didn't even want to send me enough foam to cover the area that I use here. So you wouldn't have even have heard a difference in the audio. And they wanted that to be the payment. Like, we're going to send you $150 worth of acoustic foam. And then that's the payment for you to do a review video and give all the talking points that we want. 99% of the time in these bullshit-ass sponsored videos, they really think that their shitty garbage product, is me getting to keep their garbage product, is actually payment for me to shill it. And it's not. Like, I have to take time to review this thing. I have to post all this shit. Like, no, fuck out of here. Like, and it's never a good, like, it's never, hey, we're with Lenovo and we have a new ThinkPad that kind of goes back to the T61 era, Lewis. Would you like to try it out? And you're shit. No, it's never shit like that. It's always garbage products. If you sell out to Audible, buy. I use Audible. I actually pay for it. To be clear, Audible has not paid me. I use Audible on my phone. I actually do use it. It's just I don't shill it because I honestly never even bothered looking into it. Because I never assumed I'd make enough off of it for it to even be remotely worth my while. Is eBay dead in your eyes that you still use it? I use it only when there's a good deal. Like, I don't go to eBay as a primary method of purchasing stuff. Anytime I'm on eBay, it's because I'm a cheapskate. I want to get something for below market value. I use it to buy these microphones. These DPA, I always look for a DPA 4065 or a DPA 4066. This is an $800 microphone. So if I could find this thing for $50 with a broken plug, I'll jump right on it. I've never been to Los Angeles. The new Sony phone is a headphone jack expandable storage. Going to upgrade now. Maybe. When I was looking into the Sony phones, the only one that had everything that I wanted was a phone that was $1,299. And the phone that was $1,299 has a 1-inch sensor, so it's supposed to be comparable to an actual DSLR camera or a professional camcorder. The problem is that it doesn't actually do any of the processing that, let's say, a Google Pixel does. So because it's designed for a photographer, they're expecting that you're going to set all your own shit, you're going to do all your own fucking color curves, white balance, all this other crap. So they're not doing that for you. So if you're just on the go and shooting like I am most of the time, you actually wound up getting worse quality out of that phone than you did out of a piece of shit Google Pixel, because the Google Pixel was trying to do all the shit behind the scenes to make the video look better for you, because the Google Pixel assumed you're an idiot. So that, plus the fact that the phone was $1,299, it didn't really seem that exciting to me. I don't really want to pay $1,300 for a phone. This phone was $300 used. But if they did make something that's cheaper, that is more idiot-proof and idiot-friendly for somebody like me, and it has a headphone jack and expandable storage, then I would absolutely be open to it. I would just be afraid to ask what the size of the screen is, because I've gotten spoiled by my Samsung S10e. This phone, admittedly, I think this phone is too big. I don't like the size of this phone. It's still, but compared to every other tablet that's pretending it's a phone nowadays, compared to all the other tablets that think they're phones, I'll take this thing any day. Again, this thing is much, much better than... What do you think of Apple, the Airport Extreme routers? I've never tried an Airport Extreme router before. I've never had this incredible urge to try an Airport router or an Apple router. Never cared. Never cared.
Sweet mercy.
No, it's still an iPhone. Not hard, just honest, Rick Robertson. There's a difference. If you want positive results, you have to be honest with yourself. You can lie to the rest of the world, just never lie to yourself. Eli the Computer Guy has a good video on that, but you have to go to archive.org to find it on his channel because he unlisted all of his original videos that were really good. He has a video, be honest with yourself, never lie to yourself. It's a very, very good video. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself. Lie to your mama, lie to your papa, lie to your employees, lie to your investors, lie to your cousin, lie to your parents, lie to your wife, but don't lie to yourself. Once you lie to yourself, you are truly lost. You know, let your employees think that you're doing amazing, crazy, big things, that they buy into your dream. Let investors think that you're going to take over the world so they invest in you. Don't bullshit yourself, though, because you'll start making really bad decisions if you bullshit yourself. Type Racer reminds me that I hate my mechanical keyboard. Switched back to membrane and got my highest scores from many yet. Why does people swear by mechanical? Because it's older, and older stuff means that you're cooler because you're using something that other people aren't using. So it's like the hipster thing. It's like, I only prefer to read books that are yellow. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like there's one person's like, I actually prefer books when they're a little bit yellow on the page. Like I'm not kidding. I heard this on the L train in 2009. Like it took everything in me to not just go, just shut the fuck up. Because it was, you know, he had the same fucking like brown rectangle shaped fucking box hipster shoe and the hipster accent and the hipster everything. It's you know, there's a lot of people out there that just want to be contrarian for the sake of being different, and it's a hipster thing. I think it's a hipster thing. What's going on? I don't know. What is going on? I wish people would wait for that good enough phase before offering the services to people, but I suppose that's subjective, and I think my original work was awful too. Dude, look at my early border pairs from 2013 on this channel. Like, I still have some of them. I should fucking delete those videos. If I had half a fucking brain, I would go back to 2013 and 14 and go, wait, what the did you just, what the fuck is the size of that wire? Delete that shit. But I shouldn't keep that shit up. It's horrible. But I keep that up because it's honest. Nobody shared information in this industry in the beginning. I was fucking figuring this shit out as I go on my own. It's not like there was a fucking guide. Again, that's why in all my videos, I literally put in there, this is the soldering iron that I use. This is the tip. This is the wire that I use. This is the wire cutter that I use. This is like literally everything. The wire that I use is in there. Why do I link to the wire? Because at one point, I used to cut up the LVDS cable. I used to take out the smallest wire in the LVDS cable, and that was my jumper wire. I actually thought that was acceptable. I thought that was an acceptable jumper wire because I did know better. And it's important that people understand that if there's no information out there and you don't know any better, that you're just going to be wandering around the dark. I was wandering around the dark. My repairs now are much better than the ones I did back then. You know, I still stood by them. If that customer came back and said, this isn't working, and they came back a year later and my warranty was 3 months, I'll still fix it for them if I know that I fucked it up. But, you know, but yeah, for PR purposes, it's probably best if I just took that shit down. But it wouldn't be the honest me, you know, if I hid that stuff. Are you worried about the long-term health implications of exposure to solder fumes? No, because there are no exposure to solder fumes because I have a Hacko FA430 that's turned to high in front of me all the time, which is a $700 fume extractor, so there are no solder fumes. Further, lead is in the solder, and lead is going to melt somewhere around 900 to 1,000 degrees. If my soldering iron is a 750, you're not actually getting to the point where the solder is what you smell. What you smell, because the solder is not turning into a gas, it's turning into a liquid at that temperature, is you're smelling flux. Flux is not as harmful to you as lead fumes. Lead fumes is way worse for you than flux. Flux fumes is like not the worst, not the best, but again, all that shit's getting sucked into a giant $800 fume extractor anyway, so I don't really care. I have a Seagate that clicks like things platter swap. I don't know any reputable swaps in Arizona. You allow shipments for data recovery. We do. We do. SteveSavers.com. Or just go to RossmannGroup.com and click on the data recovery in the mail-in section. Should get the new Sony phone. You know what? I'm going to look into this Sony phone tomorrow. How come you don't stream on Twitch? Because they banned Destiny, so I deleted it. I stand with Destiny. I stand with Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II. If he gets deleted off a platform, I will delete myself off of that platform. Famous last words. I actually didn't log into my Streamlabs account for Twitch. I thought I made nothing off of Twitch. I actually made like 12 to 1500 bucks in donations off of Twitch. Not off of affiliate, because again, I never signed up to be partner or affiliate or anything with them. But just I had a separate Streamlabs link on my Twitch account than I did on YouTube. Thanks for all your YouTube. Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. There was some months where it actually was more on Twitch than it was on YouTube. So like, I don't know. It was like 12 to 15,000 bucks a year that I gave up to make a point. I stand by it. You can't hit undelete afterwards, so I might as well just run with it. But yeah, I don't know. I stand with Destiny. You delete Destiny off your platform, I will delete myself off of your platform. Do you like SpinRite product? No, not at all. I've never had any success using that ever. The only thing that's ever done is cause me pain, aggravation, and suffering. I DD Rescue. Like, I'd much rather DD Rescue than SpinRite. I've never gotten anywhere with SpinRite ever. DD Rescue. If you're using a tool that is affordable and you want something you're going to use in your home, learn how to use DD Rescue. Learn how to use -N and -A. -A is going to be important. Like, let's say the sector size is 512, right? So have it ignore everything that's a multiple of the sector size, like 5120000. So if it's going below 5 megabytes a second, just fucking skip on the first pass. This way you get all the shit that's important. And you get all the shit that's easy to get before you destroy the heads, and then you do a second pass where you're going to grab all the shit that's really difficult to grab that you couldn't grab with the heads being weak. Because again, if the heads are weak, you don't want to waste them and potentially wind up causing platter damage by going over sections that it can't get. You want to skip over that shit. So learn how to use a -N option on your first pass and -A with a multiple of the block size of the drive, like something like that. And Steve is probably going to kick me because if I'm giving data recovery advice when I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Steve always kicks me when I talk about data recovery because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and he knows what he's doing. But this has worked for me for many years. And if you're doing this at home and you're not going to pay somebody anyway, you know, you're going to be fucking up your own shit. You get first pass with DD Rescue, which is a free tool. Have it set to be really conservative. If it gets to a part where it's like there, you can even up it. Like if it's going less than 50 megabytes a second, we're just going to skip that shit because we're not going to waste the heads on it. And then after you've gotten like 450 gigabytes of your 500 gigabyte drive, then you do your second pass to grab that 50 gigabytes before your heads are finally dead and go from there. But I've never had luck with SpinRite. Like, no. I actually have a blog on this. I think I have a blog on DD Rescue on my site. Let's see if I could find it. DD Rescue site, rossmanngroup.com. Here we go. I think I actually did a blog on this. Steve is going to ask me to delete this the moment he notices this is here. Because Steve, like, he hates that I use DD. He's like, don't do that shit. You're going to wind up fucking ruining your heads. Your Rosewood or your Granada is going to have platter damage. You can't do this with new Seagate drives because they suck so bad. Like, he's going to be pissed if he knows if I even have DD Rescue on my computer. But, you know, sometimes it works. And if you're broke, it works. If you're broke, it works better than nothing. A lot of YouTubers have a lower price to sell out. I don't know. My price is pretty high. It's not saying I'm not a sellout. I'm just saying if I'm going to sell out, I'm going to sell out high. I go through these DPAs pretty quickly. I travel with them. You know, every couple of years I wind up breaking one of it. Or when I need a hotter station, remove a USB-C port from the LV. Can use a workaround solution. 99% chance I'd say you need a soldering. You need a hot air station. Yeah, I'd say you need a hot air station. If you find something that like is some specific trick or like a giant tip for your soldering iron, maybe, but 99% of the time I'd say you need a hot air station for that. I'm open to being proven wrong though. But if you're asking that question, you're probably asking because you don't have a hot air station. If you don't have a hot air station, you probably are sincerely lacking in soldering experience, in which case I would not suggest that you try some advanced tactic of trying to remove a USB-C port with only a soldering iron. I wouldn't suggest you do something that requires a little bit of I wouldn't suggest you do something that's a little bit advanced when you're probably a beginner, especially if it's your only device. That sounds like it's going to end in tragedy. I will beat you up with my IBM M. No, you're not, Paul Daniels. I'll fuck you up in Type Racer. Let's do this. Next stream, baby. Next stream. I do quite prefer mechanical keyboards. Oh, you know, does anybody want to see Type Racer Australia versus America? I will beat Paul Daniels with 2 fingers. Can you explain about your situation? I see that you're often at your new state, but still in New York City frequently. If you don't mind sharing. I can't, because I'm sorry. I've shared it like a million times, and people keep asking. And it just kind of depresses me to keep saying the same thing. I show up to pop into my old store from time to time. I live here. I upload videos when I upload videos. I don't know what to say. Your old videos that you shouldn't delete are inspiration for young people to get started. No, those videos are the videos that should fucking get deleted. The videos on like me using the videos on me using LVDS cable wire as a jumper. That looks like a loop. Like it looks like there's a lasso. You could literally grab the board by it. Though that shit should get deleted. You think your honesty ever reaches Mr. Girl levels? I only know of Mr. Girl from seeing him in the title of a Destiny video, but I never watch those ones because I just don't care enough to. What if Destiny gets banned off of YouTube? Well, when that happens, we'll talk. We'll talk. We'll think about it. Brendan Gregg moved from Netflix to Intel. I don't know how... I don't have any idea how working at a company that deals with hosting and streaming online video has anything to do with processor design. But I don't really care. Definitely suggest donating to New DD Rescue is a great project, and Antonio is a very nice person who actually takes on suggestions. Even my own code is in there. You know, I was just about to give a donation to DD Rescue until even my own code is in there. If Paul Daniels takes his code out of DD Rescue, I'll consider donating to it. What's your take on streaming services and pirating? That you need to ask a specific question. Something more specific. What is your take on streaming? That's like saying, what is your take on driving? Gotta be more specific. What do you think of Apple TV streaming players? I got a beat-up 4K model from a thrift store for $15 with a missing remote. I had to connect it with a router to a LAN cable so I could use my iPhone as a remote setup to set up a normal universal remote to work with it. I've never used an Apple TV in my life. Usually when I want to watch something on a larger screen, I have my laptop or my desktop computer plugged into it, so I've never wanted to have a separate device. Usually I use my computer for all of my media, and I don't want to deal with setting it up to work with some other separate system because that just sounds like a pain in the ass. Plugging an HDMI cable from my computer to my television seems like an infinitely simpler solution for me to be able to watch any of the types of media that I want to watch than using a separate dedicated device for it. I don't want to use a separate dedicated device for my media. Like, it's like, oh, you can watch YouTube on this smart TV. It's like, yeah, I can also go to youtube.com on my computer where I get to type on a real keyboard, not on some like fucking remote or some remote where it has voice to text, but the voice to text never works right. Or it's like, you know, you can watch Netflix on this smart device. It's like, yeah, I could do that on my computer too. And I could watch all the MKV files I have on my computer too. So I don't... You have a unique typing style. I like my typing style. It beats Paul Daniels. Thoughts on overemployed? I don't know what you mean. Lewis is legitimately obscenely fast at type race. I'll do the right thing and hide in the shit. No. Let's do it. Okay, who wants to see a Paul Daniels versus Lewis Rossmann type racer live stream? You know what? I'll do it now. Let's do it on the ThinkPad. I'll do it on a laptop keyboard. Yeah, let's get this done. No, you wanna? We're gonna do it right now. Paul Daniels wants to talk his shit. Let's do this. Okay, 1 second. I am gonna copy him into a room right now. And race your friends. Okay, we're going to copy and paste this URL. We're going to find Paul Daniels. We're going to message him. This is going to be a duel. This is how Alexander Hamilton died, you know. It was some politician from New York. He challenged some politician from New York. And the guy from New York wound up killing him. I forget if it was a politician, a governor, a senator, or something. But I'm going to wait for him to join. And then when he joins... Oh, man. All right.
Sweet mercy.
Oh, sweet mercy indeed. What happened to the letter you was sent? What letter? I don't know what letter you mean. The letter? I get sent letters every day. I get letters from New York State Department of Finance. I get letters from the IRS. I get fan mail. I get mail from my bank. I get mail from the city. I get mail from the Department of Consumer Affairs. I get mail from fans. I get mail from my suppliers. Sometimes I get mail from I get letters from my payroll company. I get all different types of letters. What kind of letter do you mean? I don't know what that means. Thank you for the 20 secs, though. Never trust a man with two first names. Agreed, Hermes. You should pay double the DD Rescue Sympathy for the code. I believe my stuff was the XO log rates and ask. Being Future Motion will go after JW batteries in Texas court. It's not about what I think, it's about what they said. If you listen to Leonard French's video, Wes, he said that JW batteries, that Jim was informed by Future Motion's attorneys that they would be pursuing him in Texas. So that's guaranteed to happen because they said that they were going to do it. The only way that they're not going to do it is if somebody as big as Linus starts talking about it in a regular way and it reaches critical mass. Once they are seen as a villain on a critical mass, like again, even my channel is like, well, who gives a fuck? Like it's 1.7 million subscribers, but that's not real. Like most videos get 6,000 to 8,000 views. Linus's videos get 1 to 3 million views a piece. So if Linus like really goes into them, then I think Jim has a chance of not paying an additional $200,000 to $400,000 out of pocket in legal fees. If Linus doesn't dig into them, I think Jim does wind up paying another $200,000 to $400,000 in legal fees. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. And where's Paul Daniels? Bro, I sent you a link. Come here, you coward. Where are you? Where are you, you coward? I sent Paul Daniels a link on Discord. We're waiting. We're waiting. Hey, who is that? Is that him? Is that you? Mr. Daniels? All right, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna fucking get him. Let's do this. My hands are sweaty, actually. Whoo! 130 words a minute. With 2 fingers. Not bad at all. Letter to new address. Oh. Yeah, I threw that shit away and then that's that. Yeah, that shit was weird. That shit was weird. That shit was weirder than Paul Daniels being a programmer that types at 70 words a minute. Yeah, what is this Australian snail? Keep screwing around, Paul Daniels, and Lewis will make sure you find out tonight. I find what? I don't get it. Oh. I'm actually better with this laptop, with my ThinkPad keyboard, than I am with my other keyboard because I use this laptop more than I use desktop keyboards. Thank you, DTC204. Fuck around and find out, Paul Daniels. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, Catherine, I'm glad that he told. But the thing is, he has to, if he digs into the topic a little bit more. Like, Linus spends 3 minutes talking to Jim from JW Batteries. That would be different because it wouldn't just be here's why you shouldn't buy it. It would be they're going out of their way to screw a small business owner that just wanted to try and help people. Like that would have a lot of effect. I hope Linus does that. That would be awesome. Especially if he had Josh Haley on from Fiction Factory Boardworks. Let's see. Should I play chat in Type Racer? Yeah. Let's see. Here, I'll have chat join. Look at you guys to join. There we go. I can't join my own race. There we go. Fuck around and find out. Fuck these quotes. The quotes really fucked me up. That was a shit score. I went from 130 to 116. I don't use the single quotes in this keyboard ever, and because I never used the single quotes, I didn't know where to go for them, so I actually wound up looking at my keyboard. I almost never use quotes. I specifically wind up using underscores when I'm responding to YouTube comments, and the underscores wind up being like, I don't use the quotes because I'm using it to italicize it. I still kick the fuck out of all of you because, no offense, you guys are from YouTube chat, so you're never going to be able to beat me in anything. But I didn't beat you by the margin that I would have liked to, and that's what matters. I should have beat you by a better margin. Okay, let's get another one. Okay. Anything less than first each time is just embarrassing. Like I'm racing chat. Ugh. The quotes fuck me up, Soren. Alright. Anybody who wants to join in, by the way. Okay, let's do this again, bro. Fuck. Shit. Under 100. One sec. Gotta take my... I've been streaming so long I never took my medicine. Help me with my jitter. Under 100 is a joke. I get jittery after a few. Alright. Once my hands are jittery, I fuck up horribly. Okay. Possible to... First place, but still under 130 words a minute. That's bullshit. Under 130 words a minute is actual garbage. I didn't come up with the list, Eli. I just didn't come up with it. I just copied and pasted a bunch of addresses. Okay. 100, anything under 130 is trash. If you type in 130 words a minute in programming, you're probably using COBOL. Listen to that Paul Daniels cope. Listen to that cope. That's some hardcore copium. That's Australian copium. All right, let's take another one. Oh, that's embarrassing. 109 words a minute. That's trash. That's actual trash. Okay, let's do this again. Damn. Third place. It's worse than kissing your sister. Okay, let's do this, baby. Let's get this shit proper. Okay, back at it, back at it. 134. I'll fuck with 134. One more. I really should have taken my pill before I started the stream. I'd be way better off right now. I already did 3 times, Slee. Pro Second Amendment. Yeah, the more the merrier. $134, not bad. Oh, look at how long this is. This is impossible. No fucking way. Get out of here with this bullshit. Look at all the punctuation, bro. You have a period and a dash? That's not natural. Fuck this. Damn it. Oh, last place. Shame. Shame! Oh well, I had a couple of good runs. I won the most, so I'm happy. That's all I needed. Shame. 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 Leverage your audience to make Linus do that, because that's being a cunt, Travis. Like telling your audience to harass somebody else to do what you want is being a cunt. I don't know. I wouldn't like if somebody did that to me, so I don't want to do that to other people. Shame. 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 Why is dude who literally dissects and resec computers using a ThinkPad? Resect? Is that like insect? Your hard drive won't survive your typing. I use an SSD. And also, my ThinkPad will survive the pounding that I put on it. My ThinkPad. It's a ThinkPad. This is not a MacBook. I can do this to it. Because it's a ThinkPad. Watch the stream end. This is why I'm still happily married, says Paul Daniels, because I don't always come first. Yeah, that could be why I'm still single. Maybe that's why I'm single. And most of those Type Racer streams, I came first. Thank you, Daniel Monsanto. I don't like Samsung SSDs, Melanamoro. Not after all the shitty NVMe ones that I got. How'd you get to be such a fast typer? Arguing with people on IRC in the early 2000s. What do you think of Mac Minis? I don't think I've seen you talk about them before. Because I don't care about them. I mean, there's not much repair relevancy to them because they're so cheap that you can just buy a new one for less than what it would cost to repair them. And people don't spill water on them because it's a desktop that sits over here. It's not a laptop that sits over here. So people don't know the water next to it. Therefore, people don't need water damage repair services for them. So I don't really care about them. I get asked to fix one Mac Mini every 18 months. So I don't think much of them. I don't really care about Apple products in general outside of my work repairing them. I'm not like an Apple product reviewer, an Apple product commentator. I'm an Apple product repair person. And because I'm an Apple product repair person, I don't really care much about the Mac Mini. What's a Luigi? What'd you take on Lenovo and CompuTrace and their ThinkPads when it comes to reusability? I don't know anything about CompuTrace. I've never heard of CompuTrace. I don't know what a CompuTrace is. Never heard of it. I don't know. Aztec I don't know. Who knows? How do you type faster? Focusing. I'm shaming because I lost 2 matches of Type Racer. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? I have no fucking clue. I've never had a plan for my life. I've had a plan for how to get out of shitty situations, but I've never had like an actual life plan. You once said the Samsung A series were trash. Can you explain more? I didn't say the Samsung A series were trash. I said that the A series had garbage image stabilization in their camera. So most of my video that I do is off from my phone is I'm walking around as I'm taking the video. So if the video looks like this, and then it's useless to me. I don't need a phone with a great camera. I just need a phone with basic image stabilization, which is why I'd rather get a used S10e than a new A series Samsung phone. Also, the other thing is the A series is the cheap ones, and the only benefit from them is that you still got a headphone jack, which they didn't give in the newer ones. But now since they got rid of the headphone jack in the A53, it's like, your camera stabilization is shit. You don't have a headphone jack. Like, get the fuck out of here. Just get out of here. I haven't seen Snazzy's video on the Apple self-repair program because I don't give a fuck about that program. I don't care. I get asked about it every fucking day. I don't give two shits of a fuck about that program. It makes none of the stuff available that I care about. And I knew it was a PR stunt from day one. It is going to be a PR stunt at the end. Like, they made a tool available. That's great, to take an iPhone screen off. Like, at the end of the day, this program does nothing for me. It does nothing for most of my customers. It really doesn't provide anything that I really care about. So I don't care what somebody else thinks about the minutiae. I don't want to dig into why is that Apple made their laptop spill-proof? You'd have to ask Tim Cook. Honestly, seriously, ask them. I can't answer that question for you. I can give you ideas. I think it's because making it spill-proof would just require work and effort that they just don't think is necessary. I think it's a value thing. I think they think, why should we put in time and money and effort into engineering this device to be more durable rather than tell our customers to not be schmucks that do this, you know? Like, I think in their mind, they see it in some way, shape, or form that you deserve a broken computer if you do this. Like, I think to them, it's probably, we're trying to design this to be faster, more slick. We're trying to design this product to take less power. We want to design it to have a better screen. We want to design it to be more power efficient. We don't care about durability is a waste. Just don't be an idiot. I think that may be the way a lot of them see it. I don't know much about it, Justin Lynch. I don't have an opinion on it at this point in time. Lewis versus stenographer. I wonder how much money I'd be able to make as a stenographer, honestly. With my typing speed, I'm very curious. It looks like I lost 100 viewers when I started doing Type Racer. I guess people don't like watching competitive typing races. Well, now I know. Now I know. That is not a particularly great way to bring in viewership. Hey, all right, it's about time to get out of here. It is about time to get out of here. Thank you very much for coming by. You have to ask questions that are specific, Matt Miller. These questions that are so general are just cancer. No. Pretty convincing speaker. Ever think about trying to get a position in public office? Hell no, I'd be hated. Because I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about short-term solutions. I'm not going to talk about dealing with today's problem at the expense of tomorrow's. I'm going to talk about dealing with the long-term, the issue in a way that's sustainable for 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, which is going to require short-term pain. And once there's short-term pain, everybody would want to, hang me and fucking, put me up like a piñata and start beating me with a fucking baseball bat. I don't want to be a politician. Being a politician is about solving today's problems at the expense of tomorrow. It's about saying what people want to hear in the moment. It's about kind of understanding where the public is right now, feeding the public what they want to hear right now, regardless of what it's going to be like in the future, regardless of what the results will be. And I don't want to be a part of that. That shit makes me sick. I'd be a horrible politician. Anyway, see y'all later. Bye now.